Welcome to the circle where we elevate. Nikki, Kurt, and Angel set the record straight. Open conversations every day we relate. No negativity, just a positive state. Finding good vibes every story we share. Support each other, show we truly care. In this community, love is always there through the highs and lows. We're a team, we swear. In your circle, we rise and fly. No drama, just love, we reach the sky. Support and shine, keep the vibe alive. In your circle, together we thrive. Open minds, open hearts, that's the way we roll. Cheering for each other, that's our ultimate goal. Embrace new ideas, let creativity unfold. In the circle, every story told is gold. Positivity reigns, we chase the light. Through the good, the bad, we keep it tight. No room for drama, keep the vision bright. In your circle, we're soaring to new heights.
Gray Rider Reptiles offers genetic shed testing on 30 different ball python morphs, including puzzle, sunset, and clown. Visit shedtesting.com for your shed testing needs and for fast, reliable service.
How's everybody doing?
Hey, what's up?
Hello, hello.
We have Dylan and Tucker with us today. We're gonna have some shenanigans here shortly. So.
I'm on location. Hell yeah. I traveled all the way 5 blocks. Right?
Did you walk or did you drive?
Far, no, I don't.
Yeah, speaking of which, you must have hit every red light possible and stop signs on the way here. Because I was like, you text me you're on your way, so I'm thinking, I mean, most 3 minutes. Like, it's been 6 minutes. You get pulled over?
Yeah. Yeah, it's literally right there. Usually I walk
There's
it.
only one stop sign on the way there, too. I know that drive.
Seriously.
There's only one.
There's 2 stoplights.
Barely.
2 stoplights.
It's 2 stop lights, but only 1 stop sign.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Ryan!
I'm just going to click through the comments while you guys are chatting away.
And I want to figure out how.
Yeah, I was just telling Angel while the intro was playing. I was like, "There's all the homies in the chat right now." That's here.
Oh yeah.
I know. I want to see how I can do that. I want to be able to see the chat.
I think we're either right before the US Arc auction at Daytona, or I think that's what Brian said. It's like
there's a lot of show stuff going on this weekend, because right now is like just towards the end of the Albany show on day 1. So I know a lot of the local people here are all probably attending that.
Well, Albany, Daytona, and isn't there another one in the Northeast going on right now? Of all people, maybe Eric could say. It's not White Plains, is it? I don't remember. I just
I don't think so.
WizTang group I'm in, they were post a picture of a berm earlier was shared, and it's obviously not Daytona. And I know it ain't Albany because I'm the only one with, doing the berms here in the Northwest. So
this is true.
There's one somewhere in
Tennessee. He's on the East Coast. I know him.
I'm not sure because I didn't think there was a White Plains show this weekend.
I think it was like 2 weekends ago.
Who knows? I don't even know.
I had some friends that went to the White Plains show. I think that was a couple weeks ago. I think it was like 2 weeks after the Pac Northwest in July. So I guess that was probably closer to like a little bit around a month ago, something like that. But I know the ones in Hamburg go like once a month or something like that, or every 2 months, or I know that one's pretty consistent, pretty frequent too. Could be that one.
Yeah, East Coast has a lot of really good shows, but I'd probably say like I think the best one is that White Plains show. Now it's and it has been for a bit, 2-day show. And it's big, a lot of vendors. It's a lot of vendors, lots of cool stuff.
And we're all the cool people that aren't at any shows this weekend.
Here.
We're making our own fun.
What up?
Right here, everybody's here.
Now, it looks like there's a bunch of people in the chat regardless, though.
It is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, see, Eric counts as 5 people.
Yep. And we got an hour and a half, Don says, until the auction. So now we can hear about all the cool stuff people get. And then they're going to send it to us.
I know. I'm curious. If anybody got anything.
Next time, the 5 of us are just going to have to pack it up and go. I'm just gonna have to bring it up and go.
I was just telling some of the other guys, I'm like, man, I might have to suck up on my Florida hate and you know what, and travel down there.
It's all right.
The world's
I'd
not
like to
ready
go-
for the 5 of us
I
to
got
show
family,
up
so
somewhere,
I'm,
you guys.
you know.
I'd like to do Daytona. That'd be a lot
Did
of
you hear
fun.
what Kurt said? It's a lot
I
of.
really
it's
want
a
to
lot
do
of
Tinley or
Facebook.
Tinley or Pomona is the two that like I would really like to check out.
We can do
I
Pomona.
really wanted to do a
It's
Texas
easy.
show.
It's
We can
right
just
here.
drive down.
It's right here. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's a
Yeah.
long drive, but who cares? Road trip.
Road
It's
trip.
not that
There's
bad,
enough
though.
people that can drive.
It'll be all right.
What, like
Dude,
10-hour
that's like-
drive?
There's 5 of us. We fill up
10
a
hours
car.
to Florida?
We can all drive. It's
It's like a 3-day
Rent a
Florida.
trip.
van.
no,
The
Pomona.
Oh, Pomona? Oh, yeah, no. That's more than 10 hours, though. It's probably closer to like 15.
Get in,
Where-
Tucker.
wait,
Or pick
what?
me up on the way.
Oh, dude, no. I'll totally go down to Pomona. That'd be an awesome show. I used to go down to Six Flags with my buddies. We just randomly jump in the car when we were younger. Like this was like our senior year in high school. That summer, we would just drive down to California to go to Six Flags just to do it. So I'm always down for a road trip.
We could just get a
Dude, for
bus
real.
and pick people up along the way and just be
Absolutely.
like,
We could do that. Everybody pitch in like $50, and then boom, there's the gas for the bus, and we could just hightail down to Pomona, and we can remove a couple seats and just throw out some like air mattresses or something. It could be like a bunker bus.
listen,
We could do
drive
it.
down, be like Electric
Love it.
Mayhem.
Bro, I'm
Just drive
telling you.
right down.
Boom.
Put some of those hammock stands on the top.
There we go.
Out, see, and we can put your guys' freezer in the back if you guys felt like just popping up and be like, "Yo, we got rodents."
Yeah.
Dylan can throw some in there too. You guys can bring some rodents down. Be like, "Oh, I see you just bought some snakes. Here's some rodents."
Listen,
You know, I would like to vend Pomona.
that would be good.
That
I
would
would,
be
I
fun.
would too. I would too.
I'm down.
That'd
When's
be
the
fun.
next Pomona show? Is it twice a year or is it just once a year?
I don't know, to be
I thought
honest
it was
with you.
twice.
Okay.
I'm
I'm
looking
curious.
It was at least twice.
I know
a year.
this last year was
Wasn't-
the giant, like all exotic
I was gonna
animals.
say, wasn't
They
there
had
just
a
one in,
really, really big
July?
one.
Was it June or July?
Yeah, it was like end of June.
I have a hard time following when these things are.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah. They all tend to
There's so
clump
many.
at the same time.
January 11th. There's another one.
January 11th.
Oh, so there is 2 a year then.
That one's kind of rough because
January,
that one.
That's enough time to plan.
Yeah.
Even
That's
if it's
enough
just
time
to go to
plan.
hang out.
But then you gotta
Honestly,
drive
though, the
through that
summer one,
mountain.
at least, I mean, I don't know about your guys' schedules, but the summer one would actually work a lot easier for me to make happen.
Mm.
Yes.
My schedule
I
is
mean-
weird because the winter time is actually my busy season. Fall, winter,
Yeah.
spring is my busy season where we slow down late spring, summer, you know, then we're like dead and slow. So I can much easier get time away from the crew.
Oh no, I'd take time off, and if I get fortunate enough and hatch out some of these sarong babies, I'd love to vend too, and I'll take a handful of those down there. And
Look, and if you
Yeah,
can't
that'd be
vend, just
awesome.
do it in the parking lot. You can just stand in
dude,
the
I
parking
know,
lot.
you know, just
Old
have a
style.
big old sign. Everybody's pulling in. Here you go.
No, don't do that, please. People, don't do
Yeah,
that. It's terrible.
do
Oh,
not
no,
do that.
yeah.
Please, I'm joking. Please, never, 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 never do that, please. It's terrible.
Don't do that. You'll get yelled at.
You will get.
It's frowned
smell.
upon. Don't do that.
Yeah, see,
But
he
no,
knows.
It would be fun.
Thunderbirds hockey
Yep.
season. It's busy time for me. My arena's home of the Thunderbirds, so
Yep. No, I think it'd be fun to go down during the summer. It just sucks because it goes like Pomona, Pac Northwest, and then Albany, and then man, it just never stops. It seems like the
No,
summer
dude-
it's just boom, 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 boom. It shows.
I
It's
can't
awesome.
imagine how some of those guys who just go place to place like do that.
Dude, it's impressive
being
how
in
they
a
go like
circus.
multiple states, and you're just traveling around state to state. No, it's impressive. Like I'm kind of curious. I would just be confused. Like you would think moving around. I guess it's not frequent enough they'd be able to get back home, you know, eat and do their thing. I feel like if you had to go bounce and bounce and bounce and bounce, that'd be kind of tricky. I don't know if I'd be willing to do that. I feel like
Yeah.
that'd just be a lot of moving on the animals, and then by like that third and fourth show, you're like, well, it ate, you know, while we're on the road, and hopefully it continues to. And I just feel like that'd just be a lot of bouncing around for me to.
Yeah,
So
well, that
comfortably
like think
moving
about like
stuff.
what about all the breeders, your animals at home? Like,
Yeah,
hopefully you
there's a
have
lot of
somebody
stuff at
take
home
care
to
of
do.
them and stuff, you know. But
But you have to think too, like how many shows how many shows does somebody want to do a year? Like, how many shows do you actually genuinely want to do in a year? Like, I don't know. Like, do you want to do one every month? Do you want to do one every other month? I think it depends on what you have, what you offer, where you're located, things like that. You know, and then it depends on other factors too, your job and so on.
Yeah.
But I think every 2 or 3 months, a show every 2 or 3 months is pretty good for people in
I
our
was thinking like 4
size.
times a year is
Yeah.
like optimal.
Every-
At least in
every
my
month
eyes.
4 to
is like
6.
good.
4 to 6, I think, is pretty
Yeah.
solid.
Like if I could go to a show every like 3 months for say, like you were just mentioning, that would be ideal because then you always have, you're going to have some stuff maybe from the last show that didn't get picked up or whatever, but that kind of allows you like that 3 months is enough time for, like how many times have we had shows where you're like, oh, a clutch is hatching now, but they're not ready, or they just hatched, but they're shedding out and they're not ready, but that 3 months, they're going to have enough meals, they're going to be established, you know what I mean? And then you have that constant flow of fresh inventory, for lack of better terms, fresh animals to bring and show. So you always have that revolving door to keep it up. I feel like more than that, I don't know, at least in my case, because you guys know I don't like produce a shitload, then you're not gonna, or
I mean, if you're
it's gonna
making
be a lot
like
of repeat stuff.
if you're making 200 babies a season or something like that, where you're constantly hatching out multiple new clutches basically all year long, that's when
Yeah.
it really kind of benefits doing a lot. It's almost
It
just
it
nice
also
having all
depends
the
on
shows from like spring to fall, just having one every single month because stuff's hatching all the time and people are just constantly bringing new stuff. But then the fall
And-
shows, it's like
but if that's all you're
starts
doing
trickling
too,
down. Yeah,
because some people don't sell online. Some people won't sell online. They'll only do shows or local pickup or something like that. And
Yep,
if you're
a lot of people don't
producing, and I think that depends on what you're producing too. Like you're producing, pet quality stuff, you're probably going to want to go to more shows.
Well, yeah, if you're that guy who's like bell to bell, hatching 40 bells a season, then yeah, I get
Or
that.
single pies or something
For
like
me,
that.
though, that's a lot of peopling too. I
That's
don't
a
know
lot.
about you guys, but that's a lot of
It's a lot.
peopling for me.
It's a lot.
it is
It's
a lot of people.
There's nothing wrong with it because that could be like if you got your thing down and you do a show every month, every other month, and you're doing great, then just keep doing it. Then.
Yeah.
That's great.
I know, like some of the people here locally did the Portland show last weekend, and now they're doing Albany this weekend. That's back-to-back weekends of shows. Here locally. So I'm thinking about checking out Albany tomorrow. I was going to go down today, but I didn't feel like having to rush down this morning with the first day crowd. So I'll probably pop in tomorrow and maybe text Jeff and be like, yo, just let me slide through and take a look at the expo. I just want to peek and see.
Yeah.
There's nothing I'm after. I got no room for anything. So I got to hatch stuff and deal with that space first before I can even dream of doing anything else. I've added my new stuff for the year, basically.
Yeah, no, I feel it. I know Mike's down there, both Mike's, Ryan from Salish Serpents.
I
know a
Andrew's
bunch of
down there.
our local buddies are down. Yeah, Andrew's down there.
Yep. I don't think Tyler went up he did the Portland show, and so did Matt. I don't think they did the Albany one.
No.
Which Albany's closer. But yeah, no, I know there was a handful of them, at least in that group chat that went down.
Did they do Portland in the same venue this year? I didn't even look. Did they do it in the same one we went to last season?
I think so. I'm not 100% sure, but I think so. It looked like it was the same spot.
Yep.
I also saw some pictures. It looked like it was about the same spot.
Yeah.
Yep,
which is again like I've said before, I like the little shows. I really do.
That was a cool little venue, as long as he don't give us that corner again.
But corner, we made it work.
We made it work.
We did make it work.
But the thing is that I really like these small shows, but the way these things are happening, the way we got this little show, and then there's this big show the next weekend. It's a lot of stress on the promoters as well. Like I don't know what's going on, but on top of that, you have the vendors having to pick and choose sometimes. It's tough. It's really tough.
You ever notice though too, like
customers too?
Yeah, absolutely.
People haven't decided like, do I buy this animal at this one day show or do I hold out for next weekend? And maybe someone has a couple different options I can look at, and maybe there's a different price range that I can go into. That also makes it really tricky because I feel like that would make people a little bit more hesitant to kind of pull the trigger on things because it goes, well, shoot, the next show is going to be a lot bigger and I know this and this and this vendor. The only nice thing is if you see the same people twice, you can look at something, chat with them, be like, all right, well, now you can sit on it for a whole week, and you go to the next show, and boom, okay, I need to grab it. That part it kind of benefits.
Yeah.
But I also feel like it would just make people a little bit more gun shy on buying things, or do they just hold out for the big show and maybe there's something else that they're looking for that's on the first thing on their list.
We all know that was thought out, though. Let's be straight. You know what I mean? We know that was a thought out thing. But with that said, like with the shows, right? If you look at every part of the country, the Northeast, the Southeast, the Southwest, they all have giant shows. Now, Jeff throws a really big show here, but it's not a Daytona size or a Tinley size or even Arlington or Pomona, right? Like, I really feel like we need that here in the Northwest.
But what is it that, like, do we need more vendors? And do we need more vendors? Do we need different kinds of vendors? Do we need a different venue, a location? Like, what is it that is not making it or allowing it to be?
That's what I think. It's both, and I honestly think it's venue, like size, and the venue itself, which is those are great venues for what they are. But I mean, for like mass, being in the entertainment stuff myself, like I think it needs to be a little bit better of a location and a bigger location. And we got to attract that. Like if you look at any of these other shows, man, you see guys traveling from 12, 6, all the way across the country or from a different country, right?
And that's what I'm thinking. Like people went to Daytona.
Yeah,
people went to Daytona. They flew out to Daytona. They planned this shit.
We got friends right now.
We planned this shit, right? To go. We're talking about going to Pomona, planning a trip to Pomona. Who's planning a trip to Albany? Who's planning a trip to Hillsborough? Again, this is not a dig on Jeff and the show. We absolutely love.
No.
We absolutely love. But it is about how do we make our spot out here in the Northwest? How do we make it more visible to everybody else? How do we show people that we have some really good breeders, some really good people out here?
That's exactly my point. Yeah.
And I had some puzzle stuff. Anyway, never mind. The thing is,
you know how we're friends is because I got all that puzzle.
Yeah, he got puzzle stuff. So that's what happened. Doesn't mean it's not going to happen in the future. But again, I think that's the thing that we need to do. That's the thing that needs to happen. Is there has to be a reason to get people out of state to fly all the way the fuck out here to see us. Yeah, to see what it is that we have. What are we doing to get people out here? And I actually think doing this podcast is a good part of that. I'm really fortunate to be a part of this to really get people aware of what's going on out here. There's a lot of cool stuff out here.
I was hoping at one point, I'm pretty sure I convinced Will Morrows and like Wiz and Terrence and all those guys to take a trip out here. So that'll be really cool. I'll say this, we did see more of like Susie at the last show, and Brian Cusco came, and a few of those.
Redline was there. Redline was there. They've never been there before.
So it's nice to start seeing that stuff.
I mean, when Josh's Frogs first started popping up out here, I was like, that's cool.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of cool.
Or my homie Josh from South Bay Reptiles.
He
came up for the last show. That was awesome.
We getting different people to come to this show is what needs to happen. More people, and I don't know all the answers for that, but it is something that's needed because there's some amazing breeders out here with some amazing quality stuff, and they don't have it all on bulk market. They just do the shows.
Absolutely.
100%. No, and I think another hard thing that we also compete against with those things is, where we're at in Oregon and Washington, we're just kind of trapped in the corner in the United States. When you look at Tinley, you're looking at so many surrounding states that so many people can access that show within a 4 to 6 hour drive, and you're crossing multiple states, and boom, you can pop up there. When you look at California, LA, Pomona, Daytona, those are big also import hubs. A lot of shipments will come in through those states. So then there's also a lot of different availability just with those imported animals and those types of vendors that are attracted there. We're fighting an uphill battle, getting a little bit more eyes on the Northwest just because we're also in this corner. So we really need to draw people to this corner because there's other things at the shows that are drawing people there. If you're looking for import certain things like arboreal animals, or a lot of those people are going to go to Pomona, Florida, those kind of big shows where they can get them pretty quickly from importers. It's changing less hands and doing things like that. So I think when you look at those things too, it's really just about the breeders when it comes to the Pacific Northwest and trying to get eyes on that and just showing how much is out there, how much great quality. There's amazing breeders here in the Pacific Northwest. There's so many people that, we go to the shows and man, I've never seen them before. And you go to talk to them and they go, shoot, you live an hour away from me and you've been doing all this, and they just never post anything, do anything. We have a lot of fantastic people that are like that. That we meet almost every single show. There's somebody new and somebody different that has been doing it for many years and has just finally started popping out into the shows and kind of branching out. Social media is really helping a lot, a lot with that, bringing and drawing people out of those holes and saying, hey, people want to see your stuff. You're working with species, you've never seen. I'd never heard of micro squirrels until the last couple shows. And I was like, what the heck is this?
Real.
Lives an hour south and he's breeding these crazy little squirrels. And you go, man, that is
they're
sweet.
Awesome. Those things are awesome, man.
And he's been doing it for like 30 years. And you're just like, holy smokes. I almost bought a pair just because I thought it'd be sweet to have them. But I was like, no, I can't add more species. And you have to have multiples of them. But, it's just different kind of things like that. You see different species and different geckos, different snakes, and going, holy smokes, I didn't even know the species was here.
I also think it's like a fresh thing too. Like if you've been going to Tinley and Daytona, and I'm not saying that seeing the same vendors and breeders and stuff over and over is not, because that you want to go see your people and the vendors and the breeders and stuff, but meeting new vendors and getting a new flavor and seeing how different things in other places is great. Tinley, like you said, I think has the best location, and I think that's probably a good reason why it does so well, especially because it draws these big names.
Yeah.
Daytona, again, now we're in the corner. That's a corner, but again, adding to what you said, why it's popular, it's also like the oldest one, pretty much. Like it's been around forever, so everybody does Daytona. Plus, what are you going to do after the show? Everybody goes to the beach. So, like, if you're going to go to a show.
That's the show that
people
we hear all the people out of
afterward.
country, the European people, German people, all those types, anywhere on the, across the pond, everybody talks about Daytona, either Daytona or Tinley. Those are the two main shows they talk about and they are willing to travel to. There's a lot of people from Europe that will travel to Daytona, see a lot of crazy things, because also in Florida is a perfect export hub. There are exporters in Florida that can send stuff out of country. So it also draws people to that location because they have access to all those things right there. If they purchase something, they can put it in somebody's hands that's going to go through all the CITES paperwork and then boom, send it out to them in 4 to 6 months or however the process is. You have just different access to different things over there too. We so close to China and things like that, we could end up being, kind of something that can draw people kind of out of country to our shows too. And kind of bring that attention.
Japan is huge with balls right now.
It's
very popular there.
China's growing in the ball pythons. It's really neat to kind of see just so much growing outside of our country and just kind of where it all sparked off. They're working with absolutely crazy morphs, and it's just fantastic to watch everything grow the way it is.
Yeah, and that I agree. I think that would be great if this blew up. They would notice as well. Also, we're right below Canada, like we're right there.
Mm-hmm.
Like we should be getting a lot of traffic there as well. Especially
the Washington
we can ship
show.
Doing. Yeah, absolutely.
And we have
literally
Reptiles here.
People are shipping. Yeah, they're shipping to Canada now. Like we're right here. We're in Washington.
Yeah,
we're right here. So that's another thing. Like, why aren't we more popular for things like that? Those reasons. And then I look at the White Plains show in New York, which has been around forever. It's been around forever.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it doesn't have a lot of big. I don't know. It has a name. I don't even know if it has any big names. But it's always.
To be honest, I don't even know.
Always jam packed that show. It is the weirdest thing. Like it because people are coming from Jersey, they're all over New York, Pennsylvania, like they're coming from all these places to go to that show. Connecticut,
like Tinley, it's got that kind of central.
It's in a very
central location.
It's like a great spot. Yeah, it's a great spot. So you have all of those central cities and hubs and big states. Yeah. All those people, they all just converge in White Plains, and it's massive.
Yeah,
it's massive. And and the people have the like you want to talk about variety. So many different types of turtles and shit in the White Plains one. It's cool. Frogs, turtles, lots of different things.
That's a
Garter
good point.
snakes.
So is what Will said too. Because we got Hunter that has the shows on the east side.
That's right. That's right.
But let's be real, and I talked to Hunter, not a shitload, but a decent bit. Good guy. I'm sure it's a great show. But even half Western Washington doesn't want to go to Eastern Washington.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, so that's going to be an even harder. But I will say
hoping
this
to
is
draw
more
people from
located.
like Idaho.
Yeah,
Western
Idaho, Montana, the eastern side of Oregon, even.
Might even be able to draw people.
I
from
wanted to
Utah.
kind of go check out the Spokane show.
I would do that.
I mean, it's a
Mike
6-hour
vended
drive, but it's
Mike
It's a
vended
long
it.
drive
He
for a
liked it.
one-day show, though.
Did Mike do Spokane?
Is it only one day? I thought it was a 2-day.
Oh, and then it was mentioned that most of the breeders in Canada, they are in either central or eastern side of provinces. So
Spokane is one day, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, we're pretty sure Spokane's one day.
Or is it two?
Okay, that would be pretty rough then to do that kind of drive. But it'd also be interesting. Like I've always thought about vending like Boise, Idaho, seeing how that kind of show would do. Or if
I heard the
one,
Missoula one, the Missoula, Montana one.
Yeah,
I heard that was actually a
Missoula's
pretty good show.
I've
heard it
been
was
down
pretty
to
good
the
show.
Salt Lake City one, the Wasatch Reptile Expo.
Probably not
That
it.
one I believe is a 2-day show. That one's a really fun show to go to. I really enjoyed that one. It's 2 levels and a lot of really cool variety and a lot of really interesting breeders out there. And that one, kind of draws people from Colorado, Nevada, all kind of pop up to Salt Lake City. And because I think Salt Lake City is only 6 hours from Vegas or something like that. So people from Vegas travel up for Salt Lake City. I thought about vending that show because I also got family that lives down there, so it'd be pretty easy to bunk in someone's garage just for the weekend. I mean, it'd be fun to go out of state and just kind of vend
It's
a
a
little
good
bit.
idea to travel. I think it's a real good idea to travel to different shows, meet different people. It's a networking thing as well as a learning experience because sometimes I watch these videos on YouTube of people walking through shows and I'm like, yo, look at that setup. That's what a great idea. Look at how he has his animals. Look how she has her display set. Look how this, when I look at certain things and it's like, wow, they have an amazing setup and it is very simple, but they've made it their own and they're rocking it. And I love seeing that kind of stuff. And, it helps, it kind of helps you. For me, it helps me kind of get a little more inspired about making my spot look a little different, a little nicer. How else do you bring people to your booth that don't know who you are and they're just walking through the place?
You have to draw people's attention. You have to. If you're just that guy with no banner, just a tablecloth and some deli cups on the table, like. I mean, hey, do you? I started the same way, but you have to draw people's attention.
Yeah.
And, even if it's not necessarily like branding, do something different to draw somebody's eye through the aisle of everything else. Like,
oh, I know we've all brainstormed before when we've sat and, we've done a lot of expos together and, we've constantly brainstormed on ways on how we can draw people in, change things up. How can we make things a little bit more interesting?
I think this next year is going to be killer if we can pull off that idea. I'll just say that. I think it's going to be
that's a whole
really good.
I think
now
we should do it. And
now we're done.
Yeah, no,
Let it go. We
got it.
We ain't ready for that.
But no, we've definitely discussed things like this where you want to draw people's attention, and you can't really sit back behind the table and sit there and be bumping music and trying to get people in grooves. Like there's too many voices, too much conversation, too many things going on. So you got to find other ways that's just really going to draw attention. I think Cue Ball had that one kind of pretty neat thing. It was like some holographic disc. The thing was spinning and it had changed the pictures. That's just something different and new that's just going to draw attention. People are going to see that and go, oh, what's this? So everybody's constantly innovating, constantly thinking of different ways to basically just stick out. You want people to look around the show. How many times you just constantly see people grousing around? looking, and all of a sudden you see something really neat and go, oh, I want to see what this is. You guys have had a great idea with the lights and the different banners, and those are just different ways to catch people's attention. But it's fun to also see just kind of the different ways people have brought the kind of their careers, different things that they do, brought into life into the reptile shows, and they kind of throw their own little twist on it. It's pretty neat just to kind of see everything.
It's true. It's very true.
Yeah. Do you think one of the problems is how far our shows are away from the main airports, like to Seattle to SeaTac to Puyallup? That's over an hour, isn't it?
I mean, it depends on traffic. You hit traffic, sure, but if I go at 8, 9 o'clock at night, I could be from SeaTac Airport to Puyallup in 25 minutes.
It's not too good.
I mean, unless
just
you're
think
that
people don't
person
know.
who drives 5 under, but I'm like 5 over or get the.
I mean,
No.
I think people
No,
just
he's
don't
like,
know.
this is
I
the
think the
same
rest of the
dude-
country don't know about us.
Don't
Almost.
listen to Dylan. This is the same dude that's like, oh, it's like an hour and a half to Portland. And then you map it, it's like 2.5 hours. Not to account that when you hit 20 minutes away from his exit, every single time, it could be 11 o'clock at night, it can be 2 in the afternoon, it can be in the middle of rush hour. Always traffic. 20 minutes or so before his exit, you're going for another solid hour. This guy, don't believe him when it comes to driving times.
Right.
That's BS.
Bro,
There's two places.
Okay,
GPS
GPS says 2.5 hours, but how many times am I there in 2 hours or less?
Hey, Mike.
I mean, it'd be impressive if you went under 2 hours. That would be a pretty impressive feat.
Bro, we're gonna time it on the next trip down.
I just came back.
Challenge accepted.
It took 2.5 hours. You drove back.
How long did it take you
getting
to
there
get
was
here, Angel?
Yeah,
like 6 hours.
forever.
And remember,
getting there was like 6 hours, man, because that traffic, that accident, then the other accident.
Yeah,
but that first accident, that was
bad.
The truck with the fucking lumber all over, like that was insane. That was some shit out of fucking Final Destination.
Yeah,
like no.
Picking up large toothpicks
we missed
on the
by
side
like
of the
a half
highway.
hour.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, oof. No.
Well, have you guys ever like GPS somewhere and it says your ETA, right? I always think of that as the time to beat.
Yes.
It's suggested
You know what I
time.
mean? It's just an idea.
The most I ever beat the GPS is by 5 minutes.
That's good though.
Indica? Oh, no way.
Yeah, it's usually 167 is always, there's always something right there at camp. Tacoma, I-5 through Tacoma, the military base, Lewis McChord. It's always bad there.
JBLM screws everything up.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, if I could drive around that, I would.
And then anywhere on 405, it's always a mess, especially when you get down towards where the Seahawks have their facility. Always stopped.
The S curves there.
Yeah,
right above
not terrible. Yeah. You can get through Portland pretty quickly. Like the Hillsborough show would be perfect because the airport's only maybe 30-ish minutes. You just jump on the highway and it spits you straight out towards Hillsborough, and then boom, you're out towards the expo.
How are you gonna say Portland's not horrible when I got off I-5 in Portland and had to get on 5 other highways to get to your house that's also in Portland, and then on top of that, I had to get in the right lane to take a left.
If you would have just stayed on I-5, it would have just spit you out right on, I think it's like Martin Luther King, which joins right onto McLaughlin, which would have taken you straight to my house. I don't know why
locals know that, but Portland is so confusing, even GPS doesn't know what the fuck to think, so it takes you freaking...
I don't know why you went left to go right. That doesn't make sense. I wasn't in the car this time to direct you. I should have been there because I give perfect directions.
Bro, I wish you were there because that intersection was the most confusing. I thought I like all of a sudden hopped to the UK or something, and now we're driving on the opposite side of the road.
You should drive through Utah when you're underneath the highway and you have to like cross underneath the highway to go up onto the highway, and you're crossing multiple different. Oh no, dude, it gets so confusing. You like go through this roundabout to then turn and spit you out, but you have to stop because there's a light. and then you have to cross an entire highway. That's also like, oh, dude, it gets so confusing.
I'm hearing
This
this
is why I
road trip
avoid Seattle
is
like
going
the
to be
plague.
amazing.
Dude, okay, this road trip is gonna be intense. Okay, we're gonna have to go to Pomona, but then we're also gonna have to do Salt Lake City because that's a really good show.
Okay.
At least it used to be. It's probably changed a lot, but if we can all vend those shows, we can make them awesome again. Boom.
Okay.
Be a way to do it. Because I think the Salt Lake City shows are in like May, so it'd be perfect. We can do Hillsboro, and then have like a 2-week break, and then hit the road, and we can hit Salt Lake City, and then we'll have like a whole month and a half off, and then we'll do Pomona. Be like boom, 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 and then July Pac Northwest. There'll be a lot like in 2 months, but we got it.
I hear Tucker's making
pull it
plans
off.
for us.
Oh, dude,
Good.
no, I already got
Sounds
this
good.
like whole trip planned in my head for Salt Lake. I'm like,
All
okay, I
right,
could definitely
so
do
we
this.
all are designating Tucker as the event coordinator.
Yeah,
right?
that's it.
Yeah.
You are.
Yep. Thanks.
Yep. Give him the clipboard.
Yep. Voluntold.
Right.
Got it.
I got you.
That's
Tucker's
it.
got it.
I get him. Yo, I'll get you a sash. What do you want? You want? I don't know.
You need a planner? I can get you a planner.
Ooh, a
Tell me
megaphone.
what you need.
I'm gonna get him a megaphone.
I'll take the megaphone.
Tell us
I don't
what
want a planner.
What we need to
I'll
do.
take the megaphone.
I'll take the mic.
Get him a laser pointer.
Oh no, then we're all screwed.
I know. You see
Yeah.
this dot here, and then it's over here, and then come on, keep an eye on the dot. Keep an eye on the dot. No, we're here. Now we're here. No, it'd be pretty fun. No, I'm totally game to take a road trip. I think it'd be a lot of fun. If we vended, I know at least I have a trailer hitch, and we could take a U-Haul trailer and bring all the equipment, put the animals in the back, and we could just boom, hightail it. We'd be golden.
Yeah, and you know what's cool about Pomona? They're not berm haters. That's
Oh,
good.
you can take berms down there?
It's Cali, yeah.
Oh, that's sweet. Utah sucks. I know Utah does, but you're only there for the weekend. You're just there for the show. That's the only part.
Yeah, but it's Utah.
Everything else about it, yeah, it's so. Unless you go up into the mountains, it's pretty awesome.
I like the
aside from
Scooby
that-
snacks though.
Scooby snack. There will be no eating in the car on this road trip. We'll keep the car clean.
Bullshit.
What? Oh, bro,
You
we're
just
taking
lost
my
your
car.
megaphone.
Bullshit.
Nikki's out.
No
Oh.
more megaphone.
You lost your clean car.
Oh,
You
you're driving by
must get
yourself.
those snacks.
No,
No.
You need snacks.
no. Let's be real. That car. Well, we'd have to caravan, right? Because one of them cars
no.
is going to be full of munchies, smoke, and whatever, and drinks, and then the other car is going to have to
Fine.
have the animals.
I will take my car with the animals, and I'll pull the trailer. Y'all can be in the other car, just eating away, getting sleepy
Yep.
while driving.
We'll just FaceTime
I'll
you the
be
whole
just-
time.
I'll be cruising. We'll just walkie-talkie it, bro. Just be like,
Yeah.
over, and yeah, we'd be solid.
You're gonna miss us
Dude,
in the
no,
car
yeah.
by yourself.
I know the walkie-talkie won't stop, so I'm sure it'll keep
Mhm.
going and going and going, and I'd just be laughing.
We'll be behind you with the laser pointer.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I'll be with the microphone, being like, "Hey, not in the mirror." It'd be pretty fun. That'd be a good road trip. Probably get a couple other people to caravan down. I'm sure we can probably get some other breeders. I'm sure Mike would
That'd
want
be
to
fun.
caravan down. That'd be cool.
Now,
It
like,
would be fun.
now whether we vend or just visit, like vending would be great. Be great to
But the
vend.
first
I'd
time
also
we should
like
at
to
least
check
go
it out
just check it
first. I
out
would like
just
to,
to go
yeah,
see
I would
it.
like to just see,
Yeah.
because maybe we don't want to vend it. Maybe we're like, I don't know what this is. But I do think I like the freedom of just going and hanging out.
Yeah.
Let's
That's
do
what I
that.
really want for right now.
First show. So next year we'll just go down. We'll check out Salt Lake City. We'll check out Pomona. That way it's a lot easier just coordinating because we could all just bunk in the car. We're not bunk in the car, but we can all just take one car down and chill out. We'll leave room in the back so that way if we buy anything, we got space. And what?
What? What happened over there?
Nothing. Keep going. Keep going.
Man, they're like two little girls and they haven't seen each other all summer and they're just best friends and need to talk about everything. Unbelievable.
Whatever, man.
What was that?
Bro, if you just drive, you could have drove. You had enough time.
Bro, I mean, I probably could.
Yeah, it's
have
only
if I
an
left
hour.
about noon.
Come on.
Yeah,
It's an hour and a half
an hour
tops.
drive.
Yeah, hour and a half tops, bro. Come on. If you did a little more than 70,
It's a 6-hour round trip because then it's 2.5 hours back.
It took me 6 minutes. I had a light and maybe a stop sign. I mean, come on, man.
It should have taken 3. I
Should've
am
taken 3.
salty. I am pretty jealous that they're together right now. That's the dynamic trio right there. No, it's
come on,
okay.
bro.
I'll be all right.
It's been like what, 2 years, 3
I'll be
years now?
excited.
It's
got
been way too.
October.
Well, now that Dexter's here and he's getting older, it won't be so long ever again. But
We got October coming up, and I know you're coming down for October. Both of you guys do that. All 4 of you are coming down for October.
Oh, we're all
You guys
coming
already
down.
told me that you guys got the Airbnb book, so we're solid. It's going to be a great show for when it comes to the Hillsborough one.
And I mean,
that'll be good.
and we've all talked about this before, but I think that Hillsborough show is the show out here. Like that is our big show. Where it
It's
feels
gotta
like
be that
it's
or
gotta be.
Puyallup.
I think Puyallup could be, but I think right now I think Hillsborough is just a little bit more popular.
Yeah.
I think
It's in
the
a better
July
spot.
Puyallup, the July
Mhm.
one is amazing. I think the January one's really tough because it's just also right after Christmas, and then it's right before
Yeah.
people get taxes. So you're in this really weird in between stage where everyone's recovering
Well,
from
that-
December, and nobody's really doing a whole lot. It's still amazing to be there and to at least attend and to be part of the show. But I
Yeah.
feel like definitely even the April Hillsborough, I know that one's always popping because that's the tax season one. That's when everybody gets their taxes.
Yeah.
They're holding out, and people tend to go pretty crazy for that April one. October is usually pretty good too. But again,
Mhm.
Hillsborough is a way bigger central location compared to going up north even. That's a lot for people in Southern Oregon. That turns into a 9-10 hour trip to get up there. Ends up being a little bit tricky.
Well, and I think that's kind of your best
Especially
time
the-
frame is that like
Yep.
April to October,
Mm.
because at least for a lot of us, right? Most of our stuff we're in the middle of breeding in January, like
Yep.
so.
Not to mention, you don't know what the weather's going to be like in January.
Yeah,
Oh
this
yeah,
year, the
it's either going to
monsoon
be
was-
snowing or it's going to be dumping or.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we go
Yeah, or
when
just
we go, we
freezing
stay in our
cold.
truck camper, so you don't want to be
yeah, it
driving the
was-
truck camper and the trailer if it's solid ice out or
It was a
something.
lake this
Yeah,
year.
100%.
Everything
No,
was just saturated.
Oh, and the same with me coming up north. It just kind of depends how the passes are, how the roads are. Is it going to be pretty clear? Different parts of Washington obviously get hit differently, and so it can be clear up there, but then it's absolutely terrible down towards Portland. Yeah, it's always just kind of a toss up. I love those basically spring, summer, and fall shows. Those are the best ones. I'll stand in the rain for a show. I'll stand in line, whatever. Those ones are totally worth going. But if it's 30 degrees out, it sucks. Those shows are
Yeah.
brutal. And it's just
Let's
also
be honest,
concerning because
Tucker.
then it's
You're
the
not
animals.
standing in a
and-
line.
No,
yeah, I was going
no,
to say,
I-
yeah, come on.
You haven't stood in a line
Yeah.
how many years?
You already know, even if you're not at the show, one of us has a badge for you, and
Oh,
we're
no.
just walking.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of shows that I know people that vend. I don't want to stand in a line. I will if I have to. I 100% will. But if I have access to get in, I 100% will take advantage of that and be like,
I'll-
just walk me through.
Yeah, I'll pay the fee. Just I don't want to stand in line.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely pay for the additional badge it costs, whatever it takes to just be able to walk in and check everything out pretty early. Then again, we always say that and we never get a real opportunity to walk around. Hopefully this next one, we will get there on time, early, everything set up so we can actually have time to walk around. Do you guys see that Mike was set
Yeah.
up like an hour before the show started? First time ever.
What the?
Yep.
Are we in like a parallel universe? Because I saw that too, and I'm like, bro.
Yeah, he was sitting
Going
there
on
all set
here?
up, and I'm like, "Whoa, bro! It hasn't even started, not even VIP, and you're ready to rock." No, Mike was on top of it. It was pretty sweet. It was hilarious. I think a lot of people gave him shit for that. He's just always the last one running in 15 before it opens.
Piece of whiskey.
He's throwing everything.
He's
out. It's
always still
crazy.
setting up. Doors are open, and he is always still setting up.
Go. And then like if I got a second, I'll run, like we run over.
Yeah,
Like,
oh
give
yeah,
my hand. Like,
Yep.
that's the good thing about like being friends with vendors. Like you see somebody struggling, go help them, or you can ask somebody, "Hey, can you help me? I need a hand."
Yeah.
Stuff. So it's always helpful if you know people. If you're running late, you run late. You know, somebody's gonna help you. That's a good part.
Dude, I know, and I've missed so many shows since basically the April Hillsboro one. I haven't made any shows this summer. It's been brutal. They always happen either I'm gone
I
camping
know. I was
or
counting on
floating
you.
or something, and it's so frustrating that they all land on the weekends. We actually have stuff planned out, but then all the other weekends it's just empty, nothing going on. I need more stuff to do so I can stop staring at eggs. It's so frustrating.
You look at last weekend. Last weekend I was in Portland hanging out with family. We hung out with you and your family, and that was cool. And we were both
And
like,
then the Portland show was going on.
"There's a show," and we didn't even like think to
about
like.
it.
I didn't think about it. I didn't think about it. You were doing. You guys were floating. We were just hanging out. We went to the museum. We went to the science museum and stuff. And then we just kind of like started talking. Like, isn't there a show? Like,
I was thinking that, like,
I didn't even think about
when
it.
we were talking about meeting up, and I knew you were going down there. I was like, "Oh, is he vending the show?" And then no, and I was,
Yeah, I saw you right before I left.
Yeah.
Did the transfer, and that was it. I didn't even think about it.
yeah,
And that's kind of a bad thing about that small show. It's like kind of
It's hard because
right
I
over.
didn't even see anything that kind of reminded me about it, and that makes it really rough. You need solid advertisement if you want people to go around and see it and attend the shows. There's a new local reptile show that opened up on the same road I live off of, and I really need to get down and check it out. I think it's been open for close to a month now. I'm curious who opened it because it's like Fish and Friends, and it's reptiles and things like that. And I'm sure they have a lot of fish. Usually, when it comes to reptiles, people end up having a lot of aquatics, and
yeah.
which, to be fair, when it comes to the pet trade, aquatics really is the way to go. A lot of people have fish tanks. A lot of people start with fish tanks. A lot of people start with different kind of fish, and then when those fish die off, they change to other fish. The fish industry is a very, very popular one. So it'd be pretty good to have fish when you have a reptile store. The reptiles are going to be awesome, but those fish are going to keep it pretty consistent. But I need to go check it
Even
out. I'm
us
really
reptile
curious.
guys love aquatic stuff.
Yeah,
Dude,
and
I
then
know.
what
I have a
happens, you get the
60-gallon fish tank I need to set up.
Yeah, like you have a fish tank, and then what happens? After a while, you're like, "Oh, I'm tired of this water," and then you get a snake.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bro, I feel that way, but I'm still
Transition.
gonna get them. I'm getting
Or you
those
get a lizard.
stingrays, and I'm getting the fly river turtle. It's happening.
Stingrays.
Yeah, what's
I've
huge
thought
right now
about
is people
doing-
setting up coral tanks.
Oh yeah, coral tanks.
Mm-hmm.
I would
Yeah,
love to do
saltwater.
a saltwater tank. Saltwater tanks would be
It's
amazing.
like saltwater. It's gorgeous.
I'd want to do like
It's
a
beautiful. I just don't want to
low-speed one.
maintain the salt.
I'd want to do something with like puffers and seahorses. The slow-moving fish that don't need to compete with all the fast ones. You can feed them pretty chill, and they're going to eat and just relax in the tank and move around. You can throw some clownfish in there just to do something kind of
Yeah.
cool. Have some nice corals going in there and just some cool colors and some shrimp and whatever. And I think it'd be awesome.
That'd be cool.
Every time I go to the beach, I'm like, oh, I want to take one of you starfish home. I know that's awful to do, and you should never do anything like that. Please don't. Please don't take wildlife out of their natural habitat. But man, it is so tempting. When I go to the beach, I'm like, oh, I want this starfish. It's like purple. I'm like, this would be such a cool like ambassador pet because it's purple. But I don't know anything about starfish. But again, don't do that.
I want to keep you alive, buddy.
Yeah, no, you get in big trouble. Don't take anything.
I just saw Will's comment in the chat. All I gotta say, man, is do you? It's your life, and it's easier to ask forgiveness than permission sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes just nobody needs to know.
I might be a tad bit biased, but
like I really want to get a dwarf caiman. Like, man, I am so tempted to get one.
bro,
I just
I
really
need you
want
to
one.
so I can live vicariously through you, since Washington sucks for that.
Dude, I know, and Paris won't let me get one. She's like, what's the point of having that? I was like, why not? Like, this is the coolest thing you can have. Like, I got a pet crocodile. Like, straight
Now he
up,
understands my pain with the stingrays that should have already been in my room right now.
Dude, stingrays would be sweet, but I mean, a crocodile? Come on. You know, you could just be like,
Bro,
that would be
hey,
the
first
life.
of all,
And
Cayman.
when you get them, they're like, I know they're Cayman, but they're part of the crocodile family. It's the closest thing to a crocodile that you can own that's not potentially going to kill you. They can still do damage, but they come in like this big, bro. Like that would be awesome. Name them Chompers, and you know he'd probably lose a couple fingers growing up, but I think it would totally be worth it. I think in Oregon we can have like the smooth front Cayman.
Totally worth it. You don't need those fingers anyway.
Got 10.
You'll be fine.
No, bro. As long as you got nubs to hold feeding tongs, you're solid. Like,
Yeah, you can count by halves.
With technology now, bro, there's got to be an adaptation. You can just control it. You know, you'll be fine.
Yep.
Who needs all them digits anyway?
It'd be solid.
Yeah, it's well, and what doesn't make sense about that? I mean, we all have weird laws throughout the whole country, right? There's weird, county, city regulations, whatever, right? But one thing I don't understand about Washington's laws is they're like, okay, you can't have Asian tiger monitors, right? But I can have a black throat that gets about the same size. I can have any of these other Varanus species that are the same size and inherently not as, I'm not going to say any of them are tame for that matter, right? But like we can have lace monitors, we can have whatever, right?
No croc monitors.
You can't have crocs.
Yeah, I didn't think so. No crocs.
But it's funny because they're like, like the black dragons. Now, black dragons do definitely get a good size, right?
Yeah.
But so does half the other species we can keep. So their reasoning it's always, I don't know. That's one I would love a black dragon. I think that's like
it's cool.
I got a
optimum
chameleon
monitor.
That's good enough for me. I can't do lizards or monitors because I like to go camping and then someone's got to take care of that animal. They got to get comfortable with that animal. The animal's got to know them. So if you head out of town or something, you got to have somebody that's somewhat around enough where they try
I had
to
Aki monitors.
and it's not going to go crazy. Akis are really sweet.
I had Akis
are really cool.
And I bred Akis, had babies, all that stuff. All they do is eat. They just eat and eat. Like you gotta feed them.
Mm-hmm.
You got not to the point of obesity that you don't want to do, but they just eat a lot. They just eat a lot. That's
I like
just
the snake schedules. I like to be able to feed things weekly, feed things bi-weekly. Some of the arboreal stuff, they'll eat once every 3 weeks. I like those kind of schedules where if I forget to feed 1 week, them going an additional week is not going to kill anything. You skip a whole week feeding a monitor.
But if you can't
that's unfortunate. Food. Yeah, I know, or the food or things like that. I just know in my personal self, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do a monitor. I love them, and I hope you do get one because then I can live through you doing. But
see, so you get the Cayman and whatever, and vice versa. I just like big animals, man. Like
we could do that.
You know me. I have a thing for big animals, so
I just want to be able to build
like
a pond and have a legit reason why I have said pond.
Argus monitor.
Yeah, because they're not super big and they're not super small. They're a nice medium sized like Argus monitors. They're like a nice medium sized.
I need like a 6-8 foot lizard that can just be my freaking homie.
He's looking your homie. Yeah, he's like 5 foot.
Yeah, but then I'm gonna have to call him short stuff.
No, I'll make a little extension.
Just make a little tail extension.
Give him a little tail extension. A whip tail.
Now Tucker's starting to feel left out again. You could tell.
Oh no, I'm okay. I'm enjoying this. I'm just watching.
Listen, if this was last week, I would be sitting next to Tucker right now.
Yeah,
it is true. If this was last weekend, he definitely would have been over here, and it would have been the same thing. So now it's all good. I'll get my revenge when we get to hang out in October. Then it's at my house.
That's right.
Let me get my rules.
We're gonna play Smash.
Oh, dude, yeah, we'll definitely have to bust out the Nintendo 64. We'll have to play Smash Bros. We could do it also on the Switch now. But man, yeah, no, I love busting out the old Nintendo.
We got to get another card game in too.
Oh yeah, we didn't play last time.
Yeah,
we didn't play that last time. There's a couple things we didn't get to last time. We'll get to it.
We got to have Nikki and Kurt for that game too, because then I think like Nikki and Kurt will totally think different of us after that game.
Oh yeah, have you guys ever played Cards?
That was fun.
Humanity?
That was so much fun.
Oh yeah.
Have you ever played Cards Against Disney?
No.
Oh sweet. All right, yeah, we'll play that one when you guys come down.
Yep.
That was so fun.
It's phenomenal. You guys are gonna love the game. Everybody gets into it. Oh yeah, it'll be a blast. If you think Cards Against Humanity is good, oh yeah, it's almost more intense. It's phenomenal.
Love it. It's great.
After that last game, it ruined the Disney movies for a while for me because I can't give it away. You guys will find out.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's good. It's really good. But other than that, how are you guys doing? How's Nikki and Kurt? I know usually it's always about us, but how are you guys doing? How's the season going? How's life up north?
Life up north is good. The season is going awful.
Oh,
but everything else is great.
What's
it's
going
great. On? Oh, we just had first timers and nothing was fertile. So lots of moldy eggs. But that's okay. It'll make everything else better later.
I think we had 3 good snakes come out of eggs this season so far.
We had the bad incubator. Then we had the infertile eggs. Now we just have the waiting game for more. See what happens.
Are you guys still breeding and pairing right now, or did you guys kind of just close everything off and wait? Or okay, you guys go year round?
Yeah, we still have, I think, 3 or 4 females that are just now starting to build.
Oh, okay. Oh, sweet. Yeah.
So hopefully that'll go a little bit better.
I haven't paired anything. I thought about it. I was like, it's a little early, but maybe I can get a head start and get some early stuff going for next year.
I think we're going to put some stuff together tonight before we go back to my parents' house because we have the storm coming in.
Yeah, there's supposed to be a huge storm blowing in.
Yep. I was just going to say that I was going to pair afterwards if it does start storming.
We're supposed to get hit too. We're supposed to have like thunderstorm. Actually, looks like the rain's already started. Awesome. I actually might throw some stuff together too then because there's still some things that I have going. My stuff's really slowed down. I didn't pair a whole lot this year, but next year is going to be pretty nice. It's going to be a fun season. I think it'll be. I hope it is. We'll find out. If not, oh well.
Same here.
It'll be the great year. The year after that, then. Either way, one of these years it'll happen. It's just patience is the key, I guess, to reptiles and breeding and all that fun stuff. Got to be
not
patient.
Getting discouraged. That's
don't
the key.
Get beat down.
Exactly.
This season, I need to freaking hatch clowns. This season, I'm determined. I don't know why I have not hatched any clowns yet, and I need to hatch some. It's about freaking time. I want to see some clowns come out. I've hatched some cool puzzles. Now I need to hatch some cool clowns.
You'll get it. You'll get it.
Oh, no, it'll happen. I'm ready.
I don't know about you guys, but a lot of my females look like they were developing early and then kind of stopped, and now they're like starting to build again. So I think I'm just going to have a later season because we've only had, oh shoot, what am I on? 9? Hold on, I can tell you 9 clutches this season so far.
Well, and it depends because unless you have something laying soon, you're not going to have 9 babies hatching.
Yeah, but the weather's been wacky.
Yeah,
the weather's been crazy. It's hot. And then it's really cool at night, and then it's been really like even temperatures for days. Then it's like overcast, like the weather's
now all of a sudden we're going from 80 and warm nights to a freaking thunderstorm.
And I was talking to my wife, and I was like, I feel like we're 2 weeks off. I feel like this.
Oh, I feel like fall's already started.
Or more.
Yeah, I feel like we're 2 weeks into fall already.
Fall has already started. Leaves are changing.
Yeah,
colors they're already falling.
Like the wind today, it was. The last 3 days, the wind has been blowing pretty dang good up here.
Yeah.
And you guys know I'm a seasonal breeder, and this is like the feeling and the vibe that I usually kind of start pairing and
it makes
this
you start
is what
having
I look
the itch
for.
of okay, I want to start pairing this up. I want to start breeding this now, and
which
which is not a bad thing, but come on, give me a break. Like I feel like I just stopped, but then you're already starting off again, and I mean that is, I guess, reptile breeding. I mean, I had freaking eggs hatching out in December and stuff last year, which was really crazy. Ball python eggs hatching out really late, November and December. Never had that before. It was just wild. I definitely won't have those. None of those girls went this year. I gave them the year off. It was, forget it. We'll wait until next year and hopefully have a decent season with them. And yeah, we'll find out.
But for me, like that thing I'm noticing, like a lot of my girls, or not a lot, but especially the girls that didn't go last year, they don't want to eat.
Yeah.
They're big. They don't want to eat. And the males, especially those young males that I was telling you guys about that didn't do jack shit last year.
Yeah.
Those males are fucking tearing rats out. They are eating up a storm right now. And that's for me, seasonally breeding, that's kind of like that little like trigger for me. I'm like, okay, these guys are like, okay, let's, I'll start
They're
doing
starting
this.
to slam the food and start packing up the weight and
Yeah,
going, hey, I know I'm ready.
some of my males, they don't want to eat here and there, and now they're like they're chowing down, and the girls are backing off. They don't seem to want to eat. But the girls that bred last year, tearing the food up right now.
So it's funny you say that. Literally everything in those
tearing
racks
that
right
shit up
now
right
is
now.
tearing. I actually got tagged by a freaking ball python the other night.
So like
Freaking
they're hungry. So I
monkey's
feel
ass
weird.
jumped out at me.
Really?
Yeah, dude, he got me good on my freaking thumb, man.
I'm telling you, it's off. Like the time and the temperature, something is off there. There's like an odd trigger, and I'm gonna roll with it. We got rain coming in.
Yep.
I just fed yesterday and the day before. Shit.
Yeah.
I could choke the room in and see what happens.
Yeah.
I know I fed things yesterday, but I fed everything really light so I could throw stuff together and not feel guilty. I didn't hit anybody with any really big, heavy meals. That's actually not a bad idea. All right, I'm pairing up after the show too. I got some stuff that can go together and start working.
You've had a few locks already though with the GTPs.
Yeah, no, I had one of my repeat pairings that I was working on. Female ended up taking just a massive dump. I thought she did earlier, but apparently she didn't because it definitely all came out. And then when she perched up, I was like, all right, like you're about a week away from when you should be ovulating. And what she had done the two times she'd gone, oh no, man, that dump was solid. She totally.
Now we know how to make Nikki crack up and turn red instantly.
Oh man, like talk about like a total heart sinker. Like you see the shit and you're just like, okay, and then you look at her and you're like, you ain't building. You ain't got nothing going on inside of you. Like I've seen it twice now. Like I know what she looks like or what she should look like at this time. And I'm looking at her, I'm like, you look like you just laid a clutch of eggs. Like that's how skinny you look now after dropping that load. So I ended up stopping that one. It's hilarious that they even locked up and had been breeding that way because he was breeding her like she was gonna go. But then after that happened, I just pulled him out. I was like, nah, bro, you're done. There's no way she's going. And that was kind of my like last swing at this season. I have the 14 eggs that were laid in July. They'll be hatching out the first week of September. They're day 33 today. They got about 2 weeks, and we should see some heads poking out. And then Dylan and I have a project that we're going to try to either repeat or we're going to do something with Miss McGonigal again, his Biak female. We're going to see what she does, whether it's with the same male or if we change it up and do something different. Either way, we hope to have something from that, and that would kind of end my season this year. She'll be the last one. She typically goes, she ovulated November last year and late in December. So, we'll see what happens in the next couple months, kind of working towards her. But aside from that, I got a lot of projects when it comes to the green trees for next year. Since the Jaya female didn't repeat this year, completely changing directions. I'm not going to try to repeat it again next year. This was kind of the one chance for her. I'm going to end up breeding another Jayapura type male to her. And then I have one of my 2021 production Jayas that I'm going to breed to a different Jaya female. I'd like to hit a couple clutches of those next year. I'm going to do not only the designer Biak stuff, but I'm also going to do some designer Cyclops stuff and kind of get that going and see what can happen. Yep. And then I'm not going to repeat the Sarong female and the Sarong male again. If anything, I'll probably let her chill for the year. I might try to repeat her if she's interested in it. She looks like she didn't even lay a clutch of eggs, which is impressive because she laid more eggs than Miss McGonigal did. And she's maybe half the size. She's a lot smaller, but popped out 18 eggs. It was pretty impressive. Wow. So we'll see what happens. She might be one of those females that, can breed year after year really well and bounce back and recover and do really good. Some females don't. Some females like to take the year off and So we'll see. I'll play around with that, but if I do, it'll probably be something like a red Jaya male to her. Get some red Jaya Sarong crosses. That'd be pretty fun to have growing up. So we'll see.
Heck yeah.
Four or five
Yeah,
projects.
I'm just excited to see that last clutch that we had. They're like them starting the OCC now slowly.
Oh
I'm
yes.
stoked to watch that over the next, little while.
Some pretty fun stuff happening.
Whether the yellow or red,
I
that
didn't get to
changes
show you earlier. They're starting. It's slow, but it's starting for sure on the Neos. Yeah.
Yeah, this guy. I hope it's a girl.
I was gonna say, aren't they right behind you?
Hey, whoa! Why you gotta be like that?
Yeah. You show him. You show Tucker. Get his ass.
I thought he was gonna be cool. He just shit.
Famous last words.
Yeah, I don't know if you can really see how well it is on the camera.
That's
Pretty.
I'm gonna make
You
you.
see the little specks coming in.
That's so weird. There you go.
Dude, that one seriously reminded me of the one I've been calling reduced red.
Yeah, this one was the dark baby that hatched out.
Man, that's gorgeous.
Just a tiny bit further.
Yeah, pull it back.
That right there.
All right.
Too far.
Yeah.
There you go. No, dude, that thing's looking nice. It's getting the gold flecking, and it's got that one's changing really similar to the two reds. It's got that gold flecking in the white dorsal, and then it's got that head starting to get the scalation.
Yeah, no, this one's gonna be pretty sweet. I'm really excited to see how that one turns out. None of the other siblings have really started changing at all on my end. A couple of the yellow ones got a few green scales that have popped in really subtle. You got to like really stare at them to actually see kind of what you're looking for.
I was actually meaning to show you because Busy Red just shed out. Well, shoot, I guess I can just grab Busy Red and show you.
Yeah, go pick it up.
Oh, now make Dylan bigger.
You're not doing anything.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, no, so I'm excited for the outcross to start with these babies. I would love to see if she repeats again. Miss McGonigal looks like she looks basically just as good as she did last year before she went, maybe even a little bit better. So I hope she goes again this year. There you go.
You're gonna have to tell me if that's focusing in properly.
There you go.
Right there. Down a little bit. There you go. Perfect. Beautiful.
But this one's staying really dark, man. The reduced red reminds me more of the color of the one that you just showed off.
Yep.
This one just seems, I don't know, more chocolatey. It is.
Yeah. That's kind of like the one that's just above it. It's kind of a more chocolatey looking color than it is red. I know these lights
that one
make it a little bit brighter, but
that one just shed out. I was meaning to show you because it's getting some more of that gold flecking, and then on the head, it's getting those oranges kind of coming in that we were talking about.
No, that one's looking awesome. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see just kind of how they all turn out. I'd love to make some more and have some more growing up if we can get fortunate enough. It would be awesome to repeat it again just to get some more stuff. But, I have that one male that's he's going to be 3 this fall, and he's basically what our babies are, but from a prior generation of a different sickness line male or a female bred with a Biak male. So I have that one that I've been kind of half tempted to mess around with too. I think that one would be pretty fun because he ended up throwing quite a bit of yellow. So yeah, there's a lot of cool things that we can kind of play around with, and that's the fun side with green tree pythons is there's really no bad direction you can go when it comes to the green trees. All the babies come out really neat and come out different, and every single one's going to look new. So it's the best part. You have no idea what they look like, and even 3-4 years old, they're still changing and doing stuff, and so it's just basically never-ending story.
It's so cool. I'm really hoping me and Tucker were talking because Miss McGonigal retained a ton of blue from laying that clutch. So it'd be really cool to see if if she does go again, and everything goes right, if she
Taking her
does the
down.
hormonal blue,
She
Bro,
was like, had her in the car with me, and I got, I got good looks there, and I made sure she was nice and comfortable, and
I'm
she
sure,
was
yeah.
great. She did
I
really
am
well.
praying. I
She
need
was
one
beautiful.
female to go hormonal blue. I don't care which one it is. It don't matter to me. I just want one of my females to go hormonal blue. I thought the Jaya female that laid 2 clutches, I was like, oh, there's no way. She's definitely going to be the one that stays blue. No, she's just as green as she was when I first got her. She's got a lot of blue, but I've just been waiting. And then Miss McGonagall was the closest one. I thought the sarong would maybe do it. I'm like, okay, this is a different locality I haven't bred, and sarongs typically like to go hormonal. So I was trying. She didn't gain any blue. If anything, she probably like lost the blue that she had and was just like, I'm more green.
I know how
it's
bad you
probably
want
just
this.
'cause
But here's the opposite.
yeah, and then I know it's gonna happen with Miss McGonagall. She's gonna stay hormonal blue and then have to go back, and I'm gonna be like, God damn it, I finally got it, and then it's gonna change like that. I already know. It's just the way life is.
Sorry, love you too, bro.
It's all good. I mean, as long as we make cool babies with it, I'm excited. I'm already grateful
I'm just
for it.
jacked. I love that female. So like for me,
yeah.
like she's my fun. Just look at
She's
like
gorgeous, man. Like she was gorgeous.
well, that's what started all this whole thing was Tucker and that snake. Like
No,
she's a good
just like
size.
one
She's got a good
day when we
size.
get Tucker to admit it, he'll have a berm in that room.
one of these days. No, that's how I got into the puzzle stuff. I got that pin puzzle mail from you, and
Yep.
you ended up getting Miss McGonagall, and that's what helped kind of launch off a lot of my puzzle stuff. And then this kind of launched you into the green tree stuff. And then
Yep.
one thing led to another, and now we got freaking babies growing up from the same female. I remember when I bought her back in 2020, she was freaking awesome. And then to have it kind of go full circle for her to leave, come back, chill out for a year, breed, have babies, especially to have them late on Christmas morning. I'm waking up at 4 a.m. and boom, she's popping eggs out. That was just freaking incredible.
Right?
And then for them to start hatching on Valentine's Day, we hit a couple holidays with this clutch. It was just and all around it was just phenomenal just to be able to experience it and just to kind of see how far things came. Dylan's the only person that I can actually say this. We've done, I think, 6 or 7 breeding projects together now. Whether I've used either a male of his, a female of his, and ball pythons, and now the green tree. Every single joint pairing him and I have worked on together has been successful. We've gotten eggs, we've gotten babies, every single time, and then animals have been able to be returned completely healthy and continue to thrive and do their thing. Most of the time, you don't hear stuff like that when it comes to breeding loans and breeding projects. I was thinking about it. It's phenomenal that we've managed to be able to do things. I know so many people that have ruined friendships with breeding projects and breeding loans. And obviously, it's never always going to be great. It's never always going to be great. But to have this kind of start, the confidence built in it now, like if we did have something bad happen, man, it don't even bother me. That that's just the way the ship goes.
Well, I had somebody I was talking to the other day, right? And we were talking about, they were asking me about breeding loans because I briefly mentioned, like, we had done joint pairings and stuff, and that I don't really do that with anybody else. Like, there's very few people I would be open to that with, you being one of them, obviously, right? But they were asking me questions about it. I'm like, the first and foremost thing you have to understand is Tucker's one of my best friends. I trust that if anything happens, or not trust, I know that if anything bad were to happen, it was not his fault. He did everything right. And there's no doubt in my mind whatsoever.
Like, yo, bro, I messed it up. I did something
well, that's
wrong.
what I'm saying. But there's no doubt that there's any sort of shady, like, anything. Like, if I have any bit of that doubt, I'm not doing a breeding loan with you. And that would be my advice to anybody out there. If you have any shred of doubt in that person, don't do it, because it's not worth ruining a friendship or anything for.
It's like we always, like I say this shit to everybody: go with your gut. Go with your gut. Something don't feel right, don't do it. Ask lots of questions. If they're not answering the questions properly, don't do it. If you're doing a breeding loan with someone and they won't show you their collection, don't fucking do it.
Yeah,
there's a lot of red flags. Lots and lots of red flags.
I've been in Dylan's.
Well, if anything, Tucker updates me more than honestly, like, I'm not saying I mind it, right? Like, because trust me, don't get me wrong, I love the updates, right? But most of the time, he goes above and beyond to like show me, hey, they're eating, or this is happening, or a lock, or whatever. Like,
well,
I'm like, hell, sweet.
And that's one thing that I would also recommend to people. If you do a breeding loan with somebody, the worst thing you could possibly do is harass that person of going, hey, what's going on? Hey, how are you doing? If you work with somebody and you're not sitting there bothering them, they're going to be more willing to send those updates. They're going to be willing to kind of chat about this. If you're asking every other day, how's this animal doing? Hey, what's new? Bro, nothing's going to change in 2 days. I can promise you that. Unless your temperature spike and that animal's gone, nothing changes in 2 days. If I do a breeding project with somebody, prime example, I have a breeding loan with my buddy Brian Latimer. I have his Jayapura female here. She's here permanently, but it's still his female. Every time I breed her, obviously that's when we will separate and give babies and stuff. But for the record, she will stay here. We'll just do that kind of project. But he's not bugging me going, hey, how is she doing? Hey, what's up? He very much knows how the species works. She's acclimating. She's chilling. She's just doing her thing. If I am going to start pairing or start doing something, first thing I'm going to do is, hey, Brian, here's the 2 males that I'm thinking about using. Which one do you want to do first? Either one doesn't matter to me. That's why I've kind of chose these ones. If you wanted to go outside the normal, I got this, and this to play with. That discussion's having first before we're even breeding anything. Obviously, Dylan and I, we chat about our breeding projects all the time. And, when we see something, or if I have a couple females here that he doesn't need and that I got a male that we can tag to this, or vice versa, it's easy to discuss those things, but discuss them up front. Talk to those people, go to their collections, allow them into your collections, and just have patience. We know how this process goes. You're breeding ball pythons for 3-4 months, and then boom, they're off food, and then they're ovulating, and then you're getting eggs. It's a 9-month to a year process with all of this and how it goes. And that's if it happens the first year. So just be patient. It's not going to happen overnight. You're not sending somebody a ball python. You're not going to breed it the first day you get it and get eggs 2-3 months later. That's just not the process that it goes. And I think a lot of people get that excitement built up, and then you're constantly just chomping at the bit. Hey, so what's going on? What's new? It's still doing the same thing. Still sitting in the hide, still eating, still drinking, when it starts the pairing and things like that. So just make sure you have patience. A lot of people ruin things by just bugging people. If you do it every day,
but it's like
immediately going to make me send it back and just say, hey, or take the animal.
When you're on one side or the other, like if the person that, so Dylan gave you the snake and he's, trying to find out information, or, the person, say you, that person, if that person is not giving updates or giving information, the other person is going to start. So it's on both sides. Like, don't be annoying on the lender side, and make sure you're giving all the updates on like the breeding side or the care side.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
That's the perfect kind of
I
like relationship.
If I felt that I needed to ask for
absolutely.
If I as the person, right, who like sent my snake somewhere, like I have with Tuck or something before, right? I trust that I don't need to ask if it's doing good. I know it's doing good. It's fucking Tucker. I know. I have to trust that person to know without a doubt. Like they're fine. And on top of that, like honestly, outside of this little group, there's very, very few people I will do breeding loans with, and it's nothing personal. It's just that I want to know you in person. I want to have a built relationship where I don't have to feel the need to ask you for updates, because if there was anything to update about, I know and trust that you would just tell me. And on top of that, I want to help my homies out. Most of the time, I mean, yes, sometimes obviously I want babies out of the outcome, right? But a lot of the time, like if I'm not using a male, but I know Tucker's got a female, or you or whoever, right, that I'm comfortable doing that stuff with, if it could benefit your collection, why would I leave a male here that I'm not using, or even vice versa, female, whatever. But if there's a snake that I'm not using that season that could benefit a friend in a good way and substantially help them with their collection, then fuck yeah, use that snake, man. I want to help my homies out. We all gonna eat at the table together.
Well, and that's the thing too. When you have a group, and that's kind of like look at the name of the show, In Your Circle. Like we have these circle of these particular circle of people that we work with, we deal with, and there's not a perfect way to do it, but there is the way of like going with your feelings. Like now, someone had also mentioned in the chat talking about doing MC Will, I think, wrote about breeding loans, writing contracts for breeding loans. I think that's fine. And I think if you are friends, like if you're genuinely friends, if I said, yo, man, can we write a contract? If you came to me and said that, I'm not going to be offended. I'm not going to be offended. Why would I be offended? I think that's beneficial for both of us to write up a contract.
Brian and I did.
If the project was so crazy, you know what I'm saying? Like it was so crazy. Like both animals were super expensive or super whatever it is.
Yeah.
And we either approached and said, I think we should write up a contract because this is a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Neither one of us would be upset about it. And I actually think that would work in the benefit because you're like, okay, you know what? We are taking this seriously. We're doing this, and this is proving how serious we take it.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, and that's what Brian and I
both
did.
sides of it, you know what I mean? Because I completely agree. And on the other side, though, and maybe this is just because of our relationship, right? Because if it was somebody else new, 100% I'm going to be doing a contract, right? And it will be through the LLC, all that, like it's going on paper, right? But, and this isn't to like say, this sounds bad, right? When you say it out loud, but hear me out. If I send a Tucker or an animal Tucker and we lose it, I'm not going to blame Tucker. I don't care. Yes, it sucks that animal's gone. Yes, I'm going to be heartbroken over it, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I'm gonna go right back up to Tucker, give him a hug, and be like, "What's up, bro?" Like, like that's not.
But that's a relationship that we have. Like, I don't see us doing that. But we have a different relationship, and I agree. If it's someone sort of new that you're kind of like, I saw the collection. It's really cool. They're really good at it. And I've seen their Instagram, and I've even
like you said, if it's high-end animals, like the caramel stuff I'm working or whatever. You can't, or the Enigma stuff. You can't just go buy that.
You need to cover.
So yes, I'm going to cover myself.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like,
but look, if we're breeding like some pied shit like that,
that's what I'm
not
saying.
gonna bug out about that.
Bro,
but there are these specific things, and I think that having a contract is totally legitimate, and a person shouldn't feel a certain way negatively. You should feel no, you know what? This is a good idea for both of us, actually.
Yeah.
So
it holds everybody accountable.
And I think it's a good thing.
With Brian and I's contract with his female that he sent, the main part that we wanted to kind of cover throughout the contract wasn't so much about how many babies, who goes where, who gets this. It's not the reward that we're really discussing and what needs to be talked about. We're talking about the worst possible outcomes. We're discussing, okay, what if this happens? What if this happens? What happens if I walk in the room and this animal's dead on the ground? What's going to happen if you ship this animal and it shows up dead? Those are the conversations that really need to be
about when the clutches hatch. Who's getting first pick? How are we picking the animals?
How are that going? How are the babies going to get? Those parts will be important to talk about the reward and how those things will get split out. But basically the worst possible outcomes need to be talked about. Those conversations need to be had. You have to have the worst thoughts in mind of what this outcome could be. I don't jump into a breeding project going, okay, I'm praying for 15 eggs. Obviously we're hopeful for 15 eggs. My expectation is I'm probably not going to get her to breed. Now, if I can get her to breed and I can get to the next step, set the bar low. Don't sit there with this crazy expectation that you're going to send something and then boom, all of a sudden I got this project. I'm going to have these babies. You already jump in 5, 6, 7 steps ahead. Allow time to go through, allow things to come out. Most of the time, Dylan knows this because I'm terrible with it, but when I post a lot of projects, I don't post where I tag him unless it's basically the eggs or the babies hatching or something like that. If it's just a breeding picture or things like that, a picture of a lock, I never even post about the breeding project. I typically give those details after it's successful. We've hit eggs or we've hit slugs, because that's when I think it's really important and vital to kind of give that information. Obviously he's seeing these pictures before anybody else is, usually weeks in advance because I'm really slow at posting things. And I take a
Damn
cool
right you
picture
are.
and then I forget about it, and
Not as
then
bad as
a
me.
week later I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
well,
okay, cool.
I'm
yeah.
the
Yeah,
worst.
Angel's
bro.
the worst, but
I'm the
when it
worst.
comes to
I'm the worst. I need help. I need Instagram
when it
therapy to help. Somebody needs
when
to
it
help
comes
me.
down to it, though, just have those hard conversations. Talk about those things. If something happens, it's good to work with people that are going to have similar mindsets. These are living, breathing animals. Things will happen. There are internal things happening with them that we have no idea, and we will never know until it is too late. We have to have that understanding going into any of those projects. So that way, if it is successful, man, it's the highest high. And if it isn't successful, you're not hitting this bottom low, throwing everything into this project, going, okay, well, this is it. This didn't work. I'm done. Just make sure
Well,
to keep the
honestly, if that's the
expectations
case,
really
y'all should
reasonable.
just have the project yourself, right?
Yeah.
Like, here's how I see it. Honestly, like the times I've sent Tucker stuff, I don't necessarily expect any babies. The most I'm like, yeah, sweet. I hope my animal comes back when he's done. That's all I care about, right?
Hey,
Like,
I yell at him all the
know,
time. I'm like, bro, what baby do you want? Pick something. Like, take something from this clutch. I don't care what it is. Just
hey, I
pick
did take
something to
one
have
from
at
the
it.
last clutch.
You did finally take one. But all the time it's just like, oh, I don't need these. Okay, well, pick something. So then I feel like you're rewarded from this because now I feel guilty.
But
Oh yeah, we have these
But no,
arguments all the
don't,
time.
because I told you before, my reward in it is you, as somebody I consider a brother from another, is advancing your stuff. And on top of that, you sell the babies, you're getting a little bit of chunk of change to help or whatever, hopefully, right?
Well,
Hopefully
and
it
a
was a
lot
good
of the
clutch
times
too.
it ends up
But
going
like,
back and getting something else that I also need that you hatched out, going, okay, shit, I need this too.
well, yeah,
And
and
things
it's
like
like,
that
to
happen.
me, I didn't do it because I wanted the babies or the money. That is
No,
my point.
100%.
I did it because I wanted to help my freaking brother out, and I wanted,
Well,
like,
and
I
that one
wasn't
pairing
using
you
that
did get.
animal. I wasn't expecting babies from that animal in the first place.
Mhm.
So if I can help a brother out, and it's mutually beneficial, then yeah, I'm going to help the homie out.
Well, and that's what it
Vanilla
should
It's the
also be
same thing
too.
if I had a male here or something that you needed. It's the same thing. Yeah, let's work it out. Come get her. Come get him. Whatever. Like.
And that's the thing when you
Yeah,
number one
dude.
when
Hey,
you like
Angel,
we live right
bro,
here.
quit vanilla blocking, man. What's up with this?
I'm not vanilla. I got plenty of vanilla
I see
available.
this.
Just shoot me a message. Shoot me a
No, I
message.
see you. I see you vanilla blocking.
I know.
Oh, he's a vanilla blocker.
I just got a super vanilla out of Angel, so I know he'll let him go, but it's not hypo or anything like that. Do you
Listen,
have hypo vanilla stuff? I think you do.
Yeah, maybe. Look, we'll talk later. We'll talk about it later.
See, you vanilla blocking. See, this is the proof.
I'm vanilla blocking. I need
You just
listen.
vanilla block.
I don't let nothing go unless it's ready. Like I need people to. I want to make sure it's good. I want to make sure it's a good product. I want to make sure it's a good. It's the example that I
Angel
want to show
hasn't
people.
said anything to you about a vanilla in the next week, is it Lindy YX and wait, is it XY?
Larry, yeah.
Yeah, Lindwin.
Oh, Larry. Okay.
Yeah.
Is Larry? Is that the name?
Yeah.
All right,
his
Larry.
name's Larry.
If he don't hit you up, talk about it. Let me know. We'll get you. We'll get you covered. We'll get you that vanilla Viagra going. You ain't gonna be blocked no more. We got you.
Make it work.
And bro, Will, it's not that I don't necessarily want them. It's just because Tucker knew when I specifically wanted one, and she's here.
Oh no,
and
there's
she'll be
certain
here.
projects that
But
they were definitely.
There's been others I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
I would just rather see the homie get the coolest holdback and fuck it, like.
No, I totally get it, 100%. I do. We
100%.
got
I
a good
took
solid
the
relationship.
Neos, didn't I? I took the Neos.
Oh, you did. Day one, I didn't even have to feed those things. It was beautiful. It was sad to watch them go.
Uh-huh.
That was, I will admit, that was probably one of the hardest split clutches to have them all come.
Oh, I know it was hard on you.
And then they're all right there, and you just, fuck yeah, they're
Dude,
all
that was
here,
the longest dodgeball style clutch pick ever.
And then just
we sat there for
what,
like 3-4 hours going back and forth, and that was the in-person portion.
Handling, passing, looking again. Oh, looking at this. Okay, okay. And then this
the
is going
longest
into this
dodgeball
box
pick ever.
And we're like, oh, I'm just watching them go into the bin that's leaving, and it just, oh yeah, it's always heartbreaking. Those projects are really rough. I mean, it'd be the same thing if we had a breeding project with the Burms. You know, those are just, you're still happy and you still love that you did this project and you just helped each other out and we both elevated. But you even know it pulls at the heartstrings to watch like those amazing, beautiful babies. Like, okay, they're going, they're leaving the house, and you know, it's those
Especially
are
when
rough.
it took you so long to make something, or
Oh yeah,
like you made something that you've never seen before, haven't seen in a long time. So like when you're working a specific gene, like you have a gene and let's whatever, I'm working vanilla. So I'm trying to do super vanilla lots of stuff because I don't see a lot of things that are vanilla. So I'm not really holding them all back. But it's that thing like then you start letting those things go and it's like, oh
Yeah. Yeah.
but I
I'm
have
sorry.
I have let go plenty of them.
Hey, I
Angel's
hope
gonna
that
be a
Berm's
new
doing
thing
good for
now.
you guys.
Tucker got a nice. We traded though. Like Tucker got a nice one. You got the super vanilla orange
OD.
dream.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I got
She
that banana. I
basically
got a
looks
banana.
Gigi. I know you did. I would pull out the banana sister, but man, all the babies I hatched this year are so mean. The only thing that's not mean that was new this year is Angel's Super Vanilla OD. She's chill as hell. I could do whatever I want. She don't care.
She just hasn't been there long enough.
Every time.
Dude, the new DG, it took him like 2 hours to heat up. And as soon as he did, I pulled the tub just to peek at him, came flying out at me thinking it was food time. And I was like, damn, bro, like, chill. You just got here. Ain't nobody got time for this. The female I came with, I mean, she was pretty chill, but if you give her any amount of time to know what's going on, she'll get you too. I just hatched out a lot of mean ball pythons. The chondros, I mean, they just think everything's food, but once they see it's not food, they'll leave you alone. The ball pythons, they lock on.
On that aspect, though, can I tell the story of the first time I went into your old snake room?
Oh, bro, you're talking about that's the 2021 room. That's when I got the first Jaya clutch because it was like a couple months before then.
I'm sure. But remember we went in there and
female. That psychotic one.
First thing,
dude, no, man, this was stupid. I was turning around. I didn't even see any of this thing happening. We walk in the room, and the first thing he asks is, "Which one's the crazy one?" And so I pointed, and I turned around. I don't even know what I was doing. I think I was grabbing the cart out to wheel it over to something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm turned around. I flip around, and I see Dylan. He's got this snake up in the air like this, and she's not bad, and she's just flipping around, and I'm like, how did you just do this? Anytime I've touched this animal, she flipped off the perch and would like fly out of the cage, piss and shit everywhere. I mean, just flip her tail and it was the worst thing in the world. She didn't do any of that when he did it, but he just plops her right up off the perch, and I'm like, how did you do that? Because I could do that with every single other one of them, but I couldn't do that with her. She was just psychotic.
The greatest thing was he's like, she's a fucking demon, blah blah blah. I'm like, I got this. Dude, and like you said, as soon as he turned around, I was like, yep. I just want to do it just to fuck with him, but
it was impressive. It definitely caught me off guard because I was like, hey, you just reach your hand in there. Because she was like fresh off the boat, like totally illegally plucked from the jungle. She looked like she had just been sitting in a tree like less than a month ago.
Yeah, she was a sweetheart. I don't know what he's talking about.
I mean, the travel, the jungle, this area.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart.
She was scarred up, but she was not a sweetheart, bro. She was everything but.
She was not a demon.
Psycho.
She was just misunderstood. She was just misunderstood.
I did, man. Like, there are some animals, 100%, where they hate me. And then as soon as I sell them, and I'm warning people, I'm like, listen, this thing, every time I change the water dish, this thing's got to go, take a smack at my fingers. As soon as they get it, a week later, this is such the sweetest animal. I've been holding it and blah, 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 and not doing anything. I'm like, what the hell did you do? Like, you feeding it marijuana or something to make it chill out really quick? And this thing was not anything what you're saying to me. This thing would light me up 24/7. So I don't know. It must just be me. Some of them love me and then flip out on other people, but Most of mine just.
I'll just
don't
never
like
forget
me.
that because of the reaction when you turned around. It was
Yeah, I was like,
priceless.
what? Like, what just happened? I didn't even know what to say. I was like, oh, whoa. Like, she's
Bro,
out.
you literally
And
stuttered. You literally stuttered, and we're like, how the
oh, dude, it was crazy. It was pretty impressive to watch that and just to
honestly though,
see
I
her out.
gotta say this though. I'm used to working with like that more I
Well,
don't
it's
want to
that
say
high
aggressive
pace,
but that
but
like
that's
more
basically what
defensive,
berms
higher
do. They're
paced,
very
like
they're very fast moving and they kind of do that similar kind of style. So I get it. She just
yeah, and that's
wasn't
why
like
like
any
I'm
other
so used to
chondro.
spicy little babies that are already 2 feet, like nipping at me. I'm like, whatever. What are you gonna do?
Like I don't even know how I was
Hopefully
gonna
you don't
sell
get my
half of these
eyeball,
ball
otherwise
pythons.
we good. What are you gonna do? As long as you don't
Half
get
these
my
ball
eye or my
pythons or
lip or I
something.
guess, family jewels, I'm happy. Like
Not
Dude, if I got bit, no man. If I got bit in the jewels by a snake, that snake's going up for sale the next day. It could be like my absolute favorite one. You get me down low, like, hey, here's Morph Market. Check this place out. This is pretty cool.
Maybe
We
put
got
my
some really
morph
neat
in
people
the
over here.
emergency room.
yeah.
Mhm. Sale.
Free
Don't bring up bad
shipping.
memories.
Sale.
Dude,
Free
I did
shipping.
that before. I used to have a retic. He was a what was it, the Sunfire Golden Child, 100% het purple, and I ended up trading. So I had this snake a little over a year. Beautiful animal. He was probably between like 12 feet, 12 to 13 feet max. Beautiful, beautiful golden child, and he was super chill. And then I sent him to my buddy. He was gonna breed her or breed him with a tiger het albino retic, and they locked up. And when he came back, he was the meanest snake I had ever been around in my entire life. Like night and day difference. You couldn't walk by the cage without him like striking. It was wild. And he tagged me right on the forearm and like wrapped my whole arm up. And I was like, nope, nuh-uh. And got him off, put him away, all this stuff. Very next day, I text my buddy West, and I was like, yo, bro, you still interested in this retic? Hey, yeah, man, I definitely want him. Cool, cool. You mind if I ship him out next week? Sure, yeah, I'll take it. And he ended up trading me a green tree python for it. So I took this
Oh,
animal.
traded
So he got
Tucker's
this
life.
animal. Dude, he opens the box. This thing took a swing and barely missed his face. He goes, oh, whoa, bro, you didn't tell me he was like psychotic. I was like, oh, it's just a travel man. He'll chill out. And oh no, I give Wes shit all the time because I'm just like, man, that snake was after he
Breeder
bred,
males, man. I've been
he
telling
was
people that shit forever.
night and day difference. It was crazy.
And it's not
But
all of them, but a vast majority get that way. The male retics get that way after breeding. That's or just in that for not even breeding. Sometimes just reaching sexual maturity. You know what I mean? It's just
chondros, man, they can bite me
they're
everywhere
more
and I'll still
combative.
hunt.
Males will straight mess each other up, right? Whereas like the berms, my males don't do that. I mean, they're not going to be happy about being put together, right? But they won't freak out, bite each other, flail, break the glass. You know what I mean?
Like you put two males together, they fucking slam it out in there.
Oh, berms will do that too,
but they don't bite. They don't bite each other.
No, it's more just an arching and a hey, get the hell out of here. This is my woman, man. Get out here. No, I get it. Like it's more that versus yo, I'm gonna straight kill you. Like, let me sink my teeth into you.
Like some real brutal.
Retics are awesome, but they're not for everybody. That's for sure.
I still love them. Everybody gets it twisted because I'm the berm guy, but like, and I sold all my retic. Don't get it twisted. I still love the species. I just don't think they're for everybody.
Everything about them. I just don't want one.
I'll eventually get babies from Tim. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll wait until my last girl Prim that he now has produces babies, and hopefully one day he makes me a nice cow, and I'll get a nice cow female back. I just want a female to grow up. I don't want any dwarf or super dwarf stuff. I want just a big mainland cow female just to keep as a pet again. Because I do love the species, and if you're prepared for it and you know what you're getting into, hell yeah, get them. More power to you. Don't get it twisted because I make jokes all the time that berms are better, only because they are. But, I still love retics too.
I love them.
I
I
stand
love to see them.
better.
The
retics are just different. They're just different. They're just different. Like it's a different animal.
I love all
Arms are different. Everybody, all these animals have different personalities. They're very
But
different,
if
and
you
you
want
can't keep a retic and a
basically,
berm the same way.
no, and
They're
all
very
reptiles are
different.
cool except for canyon sun boas. I don't know how they survive, but
no, if
whole
you
nother
want like
story.
a mini retic or something that acts like a retic, get like a cool breed. You know, like some of those milk
Get
snakes
what?
and king, like a king
Oh
snake.
yeah.
Those things are basically the same thing as a male retic. They'll light you up when they can, but they're awesome. They're cool to have. They're beautiful.
Yo, get a bull snake.
Bull
Get
snakes,
fucking-
Bull
yeah.
snake,
like,
dude. The red
oh,
bulls, the line bred,
oh,
nice
they're
red
so
bulls
cool.
are so dope.
Then you seen the white sides?
Yeah, the
Oh,
white sided.
I
Yeah.
love bull snakes, man.
Or what about like the pied musaranas?
You can do that too,
Those
or
things
even
are
just
dope.
gophers. Get a nice. You get like
Yeah.
Sonoran gophers. Are
Yeah.
really fucking pretty.
Oh, 100%.
Indigo, yep.
I honestly thought about.
No,
I
no,
honestly
I'm
thought.
not cleaning that shit every 20
Oh,
minutes.
I would love an indigo.
I'm not doing that. No, they're fucking Picassos. They shit, paint.
It's a fuck colubrid.
No,
90% of the colubrids.
Yes.
Like my falsies, dude, they
Yes.
were horrible every day.
Indigos are like,
The chondros are amazing. They sit on the perch.
no,
They shit from the
no.
perch.
Sorry,
They fall
I've had
in one
enough
pile
experience.
just below them.
Come on, it'll be like
They're
every
gorgeous.
single high white hide you've ever had. It'll just crap all over itself, and then you got to clean it every 2 seconds.
Oh,
And
that's
I have
why-
all these fucking hides.
So I don't
Pies,
do
I
white
got
ball
super-
pythons.
I got fucking super fires. I got a bunch of super fires,
yeah.
and I got but the worst one is my albino pied female. She just gets it. She rubs
It's
it.
always the white ones.
Always.
It's always.
Why?
I wonder if they're just prone to it or what. If they're like maybe in their head they're like masking themselves. I don't know, but it's always the fucking.
But
white
she's
snakes.
not white on her face. She has an albino face, but all of the fucking cracks have shit in it.
Maybe
So I have to sit there and like wipe her face.
Maybe she don't know that. She like we can't see right here on ourselves unless we look in a mirror. Maybe you know what I'm saying.
I don't know what
It
she's
thinks it's
doing
white.
there.
She got to put that mask on.
Maybe she just wants your attention. She
Sweet.
just wants a little extra time with you.
False waters
Yeah.
are pretty cool.
She's really sweet though. She's super tolerant of my face scrubbing because I have to scrub her face.
Yeah.
She is
She
super
likes it.
tolerant of it.
Foliating.
She wasn't always, but at this point, I do it a few times. I don't want to talk about it.
He's like, I'm done.
She's a pain in the ass. But I love that snake so much. I love that snake so much. She's so
I don't
cool.
have
don't
a
even
lot of
care.
painters.
She just has
Honestly,
No.
there's so many other species I'd love to work, but I did realize you and Tucker know especially. I dialed back a ton, but
Mhm.
I had to. There's a few things I'm gonna add though, like
What-
100%. I want some more Angolans for sure.
I was gonna say you have a few different species here now.
Yeah.
But not like how it was when you first met.
No. Me and Amanda were just talking about it the other night. We went from 26 species down to what we have now.
Mhm.
So
Even I had when we met, I had Hondurans, I had Transpicus rat snakes, and I also had African house snakes.
yep,
So I had a few different things, and then I just spaced all that out. But I'm getting houses again for the cow.
yeah. It's like I got rid of the cresteds, a bunch of other species, but particularly the cresteds. But now I honestly, I kind of miss the geckos. I don't think I'll do cresteds again. I really want to find like a nice, pure, like GTA, one of the grand localities of lychees.
Mhm.
But I want to know, like, I want to see mom and dad are both, 13 to 16 inches, 450 plus grams. I want a true big locality.
Yeah.
All these and the dark ones, the melanistic or the dark line, and there's one other one that gets a specific name. I can't think of it, but
I kind of want to get some
those are
Amazon
beautiful.
tree boas.
But I'm missing having a decent sized gecko and lizards and stuff. Yes, the daily care kind of sucks on them, but as far as like traveling and stuff, but thankfully I
It's
can
still awesome to
call
have.
you and ask
Right.
you to stop by
Yeah.
once a day for 2 minutes for a few days.
And it's the thing too. I think keeping different species also kind of keeps you charged up and like really like gives you something else to do. Especially when you have a
Keeps
gecko
everything
species.
reinvigorated.
Yeah. It's just different. It's different, but you have to remember what it is that you like about what you're gonna do too, because if you're getting a certain species, and let's say they, I love fat tail geckos. I absolutely love them. I've bred them for years. My problem with fat tails is oftentimes they don't want to eat anything but crickets. To get them on mealworms can be a pain. They just don't like them. It's possible you can do it, but the majority of them, they just want crickets, and I don't want to deal with crickets. I just don't. So leopard geckos are great because they'll eat mealworms, superworms, shit like that, dubias.
That's my chameleon. It
and
won't eat anything other than crickets. I've tried roaches and worms, everything else. Won't touch them. Loves crickets. Loves crickets. And I'm just like, whatever.
It's just, I just don't want crickets because I used to buy them by the case. I used to buy 2,000 crickets a week
Man.
when I was breeding leopard geckos and cressets. I had all that stuff. I was buying about 2,000 a week. And there were one time they chewed out the box, and I just had fucking crickets everywhere in the apartment. And then it took forever to finally not have crickets running around, And I was like, ever since then, I was like, no more crickets, please. I can't. I'll do dubias. I get over it because roaches are just gross, but I get over it. But dubias and mealworms and superworms. I used to breed all three of those. And I used to feed everything. It was fine. I enjoyed it, but
I will not breed bugs. I applaud the people that can do it. They
smell. The thing too with geckos too is you're dealing with bugs, and now you're dealing with bug poop, and gecko shit stinks. It can stink up a room pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean the snakes do a very good job as it is.
The snakes are more than enough.
Yep.
More than enough for that, but I do want to get some more stuff. I definitely want something a little different.
I need to add some other species. I got room to work with a couple other things that I'd like to do. And, there's a couple other arboreal species that fit along the similar lines of chondro keeping. And so, I had emerald tree boas a long time ago. At this point, it was closer to like 14 years ago. And they were amazing. I loved having them. I don't think I would get northerns again because that's what I started with, and they were great. I'd love to get eventually like a pair of basins would be cool to have just to grow up.
Those are really pretty.
Some Neos and just grow them up. But I'd like to try to maybe branch into some Amazon tree boas. I love tiger Amazon tree boas.
I was thinking about that. They're so cool. They're just so
they're
cool.
neat.
Amazon tree boas.
Isn't it the calicos the calico Amazon tree boas that Randy's got? Those red ones,
so pretty.
The calicos are crazy. The leopards are crazy. The Lucy's are crazy. And the prices of them have gotten insane. Like I guess leopards or something like that were closer to like $5,000.
Wow.
So when I saw these prices like skyrocket, I'm like, shoot, I kind of want to snag a pair while I can, before things get way out of line. Because let's be fair, a lot of the chondro prices too, they're not cheap. A lot of them are really expensive, but to counter that, they're very difficult species to establish and to get thriving and to get to the point of being able to sell this animal. A lot of work has gone into it to get it to this point.
Well,
and when you're doing
that's a problem with a lot of species with the other stuff. You know what I mean? Like people, they want all these varieties at the show, right? But then when people like us bring that variety to the show, oh, I didn't know it was worth that much. Well, it's not, and this is nothing. Obviously, all of us work ball python projects. We all love our ball pythons, right? But I think people get too trapped in that mindset of like, oh, it's just a different gene or this. Like, it's not easy to produce some of these other species, Right. Now, ball pythons, I'm not saying they're cake, but they're definitely a lot easier of a species to breed and, continue. But like the chondros, okay, you're lucky if you get eggs and then getting those eggs to hatch and then getting them to establish and then, keeping them established. And honestly, though, like I was intimidated by the chondros at first. Like I always thought they were beautiful. But I have to say it was because of Tucker and MJ and some of the guys he brought on. And then because of those guys, I was able to like start listening to like Travis and Keno and Bill Stiegel and all those other guys, right? But originally it was Tucker and MJ who really made me like open my eyes more. And then Tucker showing me firsthand, honestly, Miss McGonagall is one of my easiest snakes to take care of.
Now,
I miss her every other day or so just because of my environment, I feed her every couple weeks and I clean her shit up and I get to look at her beauty every day. You know?
No, if you do it right, they're literally. I do more work in the ball pythons than I do the green trees. It takes me double the time to go through the ball pythons than it does, even if I had double the number of chondros. It really doesn't take a whole lot to mess with them, unless you will get weekends or you will get days where you have 7, 8, 9, 10 of them. They all decided to shit on the same day. Those are brutal. Those are rough days. Like that's a lot of work.
I think the same thing with the berms. I always tell people, I'm like, they're easy to care for. Yeah, you need bigger feeders, a bigger cage, right? It might cost you a couple extra dollars in food and electricity or whatnot. But I can clean an 8-foot cage in the same amount of time I can scrub a 50 or a 70 series tub.
Yep.
But I only have, X amount of big cages. I got freaking 100-something tubs,
Yeah, but you also set yourself up right too, because if you have an 8-foot cage and it's full of substrate, and now you're dealing with
that's a lot more work.
Whatever it is, whether you're using cocoa or cypress, something else.
You
have all the substrate in there with this big animal that urinates a lot, that takes big poops. Like this is an animal that. And ultimately, it is really a lot of the urine. The urine, like they pee a lot, and that's just it. That's fine. You would be replacing all that substrate
100%.
constantly.
Yeah, we did it before. I stopped using it because of that.
It's a lot, And then since you don't know where it is in that,
I was just
having a hard time
on that.
Now I have to change it all because I don't know where the pee is.
Yeah. Well, even if you know where the pee is, it's in the corner next to the urate. Well, guess what? It's soaked down to the bottom of the PVC. Now it's spreading. So even that substrate that looks
like you start halfway and go that way. Like I don't know. It's a lot.
We were just talking earlier. I would love to find a good substrate for those guys because I do love the look of substrate, right? Like I love these animals. I would love to see them on substrate versus paper, right? But it's not sanitary for me. And two, the pee is the biggest concern. The poop is like, it's a big clump. It's pretty easy. Get some paper towel and a glove and freaking get rid of it. Like, get rid of the bedding that was underneath it.
Into concrete.
Right?
And if it's smeared in, you give it a
scratch, wipe it down. Freaking little scrubby, paper towel, some chloro, you're freaking done. So with the paper, I can clean those in
that's
5 minutes.
That's why I like, having, I breed ball pythons, and I like paper.
Yeah,
I really like breeding with paper. I have the racks. I have all kinds of racks, all this shit, and I use paper for everything. And I love the way paper. I love how quick it is.
Yeah,
it gives me more of an excuse to go in there and clean and handle this animal and check this animal and see all these things. If there's a problem, I'm going to see it right away. I'm going to see it right away. If there's blood, if there's loose poop, whatever it is, I'm going to see it right away. And it's literally roll it up, throw it away, spray, wipe it down, put another piece of paper. It takes minutes. It's fast. I blast through that whole rack. Like,
well, I kept all those guys on paper until not horribly long ago. I only switched back to the Repti now I'm not even using ReptiChip, but I switched back to the Coco. Mainly for me, just crazy schedule. I have a ton going on, I just didn't want them sitting for a day. You know what I mean?
It's different. Everybody's going to do different
also
things.
With the humidity in this room, you know how it is. I try to keep it up, but every winter my humidity drops like crazy.
But again, they're also not berms that are dropping a gallon.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like you're not dealing with that with these guys. It's different.
I would love to find a bedding though. If I could, I was trying to look, but I would want something that holds humidity. But I also want something to where, like, if they pee, I can see. I can see where pee touched the bedding. So I did experiment for a little while on the 70s, my grow out burrs, and I used some wood chips in there. And I did that. So we used the gem white for the rodents.
Yeah,
I tried that with the birds.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, I actually liked it because where they peed,
we talked about it for a while.
Yeah. It was clear as day where they peed. Right. Only problem is that stuff doesn't hold humidity, and if anything, it sucks the humidity out even more. Now you could go and spray it because it doesn't mold and stuff like that. Oh yeah, I saw the Repticore pads, and then there's that that other dude? CMC or something. He does the
Kurt, you guys
liners.
have liners, right?
Yeah. So last year we had such a bad. We were using Gaps Cocoa, which is meant for plants basically, but people use it for reptiles. It's probably the cheapest cocoa you can get. Overall, I think it's like $10 to $15 depending on the vendor. But we had such a bad gnat problem that we switched strictly over to the Reptisorb liners, and that with our schedules, plus having the 5-year-old running around taking care of him, the Reptisorb is just in and out. And then also the other thing we did is when we moved everything out to the new snake shack, we put a sink with a small hot water heater, electric, or plug in 120 electric hot water heater, and a sink right there. It has made life so much easier. So we can go through and clean everything. We probably have 110 tubs out there or more, and we can clean it in an hour and a half, going through every tub. It's pretty quick.
Yeah.
To answer Will's question earlier, it was adults adult enclosures. I think he meant for green trees. They'd be about like a 2x2 cube would be a pretty comfortable size. 3x2x2 would probably be like the absolute maximum size. That would be really ideal for good temperature gradients. Just make sure you have the correct amount of heat being supplemented. I wouldn't put a 40 watt in a 3 foot by 2x2. I'd probably put an 80. So that way you can get a really solid temp gradient throughout the entire thing. But if you're in like the 2x2s, a 40 watt does really, really well. But Neos, they'll stay in 6-quart tubs for the first year, a little bit more, and then you can upgrade them to something a little bit bigger. And then from there, you're basically going to like a 2x2 cube. I have various sizes. Like I have 2x2x1s that I'll use for grow outs. I'll use these 55-quart tubs that are basically like 2x15 or 16 by 14 or something like that. But I have like adult males that really like those. I like the tubs for them just because it really helps a lot as far as like the temps for humidity and just holding really solid temps. Glass enclosures are an uphill battle for sure, but it's very, very possible. You can do it. But yeah, 3x2x2 would be like pretty solid. I like 3x3 or 3x2x20. I think would probably be like the best. Is about 20 inches high, but 2 feet deep and 3 feet long. That'd be really, really solid. That's probably what I would eventually go to. Right now, pretty much everything's in 2x2 cubes. I only have maybe 2 animals that I'm like, you could probably go with something a little bit bigger, a little bit more comfortably. But for the most part, I don't keep my adults really, really big. The big girls that I've gotten have come back to me about from other places, and so they've been fed differently than the schedule I do. I keep my females pretty small. They don't get super big in the wild.
There is one thing
that made Miss McGonagall fat.
Yeah, freaking Dylan's steroided rodents.
Them good Norwegians.
I don't know what they are. They got something in their water bowls, that's for sure. You won't admit it, but
it's that Tacoma City water.
That's why. It's that Krispy Kreme diet.
Yeah.
Krispy Kreme. No, man, he gives that like he goes up and goes hunting and gives them like fresh venison and all this stuff. Like they get top of the line food or something.
I taught him he's putting fucking whey protein in the water, in the fucking rat water. That's what happened.
I knew
He's giving them
somebody was going to see
creatine.
it, get that creatine powder in there. I knew it.
That shit.
Some
He's up there
BCAA.
mixing that shit in the bum.
No,
a magician never reveals his secrets.
But Dylan,
all I can tell you is that's a big girl.
Dude,
yeah, she's a big girl.
I think she's like Tucker said, she's the exception to that 3x2x2 rule. She's because I keep her in a 4x2 and she uses every bit of that thing. But I would definitely from what I've seen, that's not a normal even when MJ came and visited, he was like, that's a big girl, she's a big girl.
So the Cyclops I just got from Kino, She's bigger than Miss McGonagall. She's like 2 of Miss McGonagall. She's massive. I have never seen a chondro.
Because Kino's been feeding her them gizzards and midgets.
Dude, I know. He had definitely been feeding this one midgets for sure. If he was on this show right now, he'd be dying. It's insane. She's massive, but she's an absolute sweetheart. So I'm like, I'll deal with this. This I can deal with. Miss McGonagall still would love to light me up whenever she gets the opportunity. Anytime I go to pull her water dish, like I fed her yesterday, and she ate just fine, no worries. And she looks so good. And I just want to look at her. And every time I go to look at her, boom, she's got her head ready to go. And I'm like, can I just admire you for a second? I just want to look at you.
She's a sweetheart.
Yeah, she just wants to kiss you with her teeth.
Yeah, just a little kiss.
But
yeah, I noticed we lost Nikki. Yeah, I was just saying, like, we lost Nikki. Like, where'd she go?
Yeah, she's running out and putting she's got to check and make. We have a bunch of rat deliveries we got to do tomorrow.
Oh,
so she's she's making sure we've got everything for everybody.
I mean, I'm looking at the time. We're at 2 hours already, man. We probably call it anyway.
Yeah, we can. I'm cooking in this snake room right now. It's like
the 3 of us could just fucking go on, and then Kurt, he's gonna jump in. It's gonna be 4 of us going. We're gonna be here all night.
Oh yeah, we could.
I told Angel earlier. I was like, I don't care how long we go. I might need to take a quick break, but we all get talking. I'll sit here for 8 hours, man.
Oh, it's easy.
Yeah, I did want to bring up one thing about Reptisorb liners, and I'm sure everybody that's used some kind of paper or whatever is noticed. Some of the ball pythons will not thrive if they're not on cocoa, if that's what they've been raised on. It's the weirdest thing ever. We have 3 right now that won't eat. They just don't drink. They don't eat. They don't hardly do anything. They won't breed. But we put them all on cocoa, and for whatever reason, boom, everything's going back. Now they're voracious eaters. I'm filling up their waters every week consistently, completely empty bowl. But yeah, it's only a couple.
I get all my stuff started on paper towels. I've done paper towels for everything. Every time I've gone to ReptiChip or Cocoa or anything like that, I like it for like 2-3 months, and then I hate it and I want it out of everything. The moment it gets into the water dish, like right after you put fresh water in, then you got a piece of cocoa floating in there, man, it just pisses me off. I'm just like, are you kidding me?
I'm glad I don't use it.
Like, I can't do it.
It's the bugs, like the gnats were dry. They drove me insane. Now I don't have to worry about it anymore. I mean, you get a couple here barely, but I bought that electric fucking bug thing with the fans. I had all that shit, and I was like, I hate this shit.
The gnats bug me for sure. We get them regardless, but what I did notice now, I found a good way to treat them, and they're like very minimal, right? We still get them here and there. Mm-hmm. Like I said, with the humidity in this room, though, I just like the cocoa. I was on paper for the balls for a long time, but now I still keep the hatchlings on paper towel.
You got it.
It's just the bigger adults that I keep on the the cocoa. I will say this, since I switched to the cocoa Andrew has, I like that stuff a lot more. Cool. The consistency's better. It seems a little less dusty. It's, you know what I mean? So a lot of the downsides of why I didn't like the other stuff, this stuff doesn't have.
So there's 2 sizes for the Gopher Cocoa. What do you use, Dylan?
I actually like the smaller stuff. Oddly enough, I think it sits better in there. When I have I'm one, if I have a holdback and I have room in the tub or in the ARS or Freedom Breeder, right, I'm going to move it over as quick as possible. And as long as it keeps eating, it's going to go there. But I've just had really good luck. I mean, I'll move a 150, 200 gram holdback over and put them in a 50. I don't care. So the big chunk, I just noticed I wouldn't like that. It's a little too thick. I still actually have the tub over there is still full of the big chip because the last time was the first time I got it. So I was like, oh, just give me half and half. I'll figure out what I like, Used up all the small stuff first. Was like, oh, this shit's great. And then I made the big stuff, which is still great. I just think if it was for like a grow out berm, I'd love the big stuff. But for the balls, I like the small stuff.
No, that's fine.
I do about a 3/4 small to a quarter of the large stuff.
Oh, mixing them. See,
Yeah.
that'd be a good idea too. I should just do that. I have a bunch of. I just went and bought a bunch more from them, so maybe I'll just mix some of the small chip in there.
Yeah, I
You
find
know.
that it holds the moisture well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We have so few animals on it; it lasts forever.
yeah. I feel that. Like I said, I only use it. So the ARS rack, the Freedom Breeder rack, and then my blood and my corn are all on the Repti. Other than that, everything else is either paper towel, contractor's paper, or we have this group of kings. Oh, if I can get my finger, that's so weird. You know what I'm saying? Over there.
That way.
That way.
Yeah.
My
And
left.
I always get
You're
confused
right.
by the camera.
We have a group of kings over there, and we keep them on the gem white shavings. So otherwise, everything else is on.
Which is
pretty
like that
decent
gem
mix.
white shaving. It's really
Oh,
good.
I love that
It doesn't
stuff.
mold. I didn't have any experience with any molding. The
Nope.
dust is it's very
Minimal,
Very
yeah.
less. Like there's not a lot of dust in
I
there.
loved how it clumped the pee and it changes the color. You clearly, even if it dries, you can see
That's what I
where
use
they
with
freaking peed.
with the Hondurans. I use
Yeah.
that with the Hondurans. All the Colubus, the Hondurans and the African house snakes, they were on gem white.
Yep.
And no, I didn't have any like the odor, no problem. The absorbency was fine, but it was the fact that there was no fucking mold. That's the thing that got me. There was no mold. It's dry. Shit just stays dry.
Yep.
And it was perfect for them. And some of them have like sometimes you get those really big fat chunks, and chips and stuff. So like I put a big fat layer and you're just digging tunnels through it. Like they love that stuff. So for me, I agree with you. I would the next time I get colubrids again, I'll probably put them on gem white.
Yeah, that's what Freya does. The one in the middle there, or out of the bottom three, the one in the middle there, always does that burrowing when we put the bigger chip stuff in there.
But
Oh shit, Terrence is in.
All right, guys, my headphones are dying. They're beeping at me.
What up?
It's all right. We gotta go.
Yep.
Well, you too hot, Tucker?
No, my headphones are dying. They're starting to tap out. And as soon as they die, I know the echo's going to start on us. And
gotcha,
it'll
man.
start the whole train.
We'll shut it down. So big thank you to these two guys. Thanks for letting me in your house.
Yeah, man. You're always welcome here. You know that. You know that.
You guys have anything you want to plug real quick before we hop off?
No, just thanks again for having me
baby.
on.
Perfect.
Yeah, no, seriously, thanks
for
for.
I love it.
Yeah, you guys are always freaking fun to talk to. We could talk for days, like you said. So thanks for having me on.
Oh yeah, all three of us talk pretty much every day anyway, so we can literally go nonstop all the time.
Probably sneak over here another weekend and do this again. Why not?
Yeah, we'll definitely have to do a round two.
So,
I'll get
thanks everybody in the chat for coming through. Thanks for everybody.
Thanks for everybody watching.
It was pretty fired up. You guys are going nuts in there.
Yeah, thank you.
And big thanks to Great Rider Reptiles for sponsoring.
Yeah. So, absolutely.
You need some sheds tested. That's where to go.
Yeah, I gotta stop slacking and hit up Charlie myself.
I know. I need to send in some stuff. I got some hypo and head clown tests I need to send in too. So I'll be hitting you up.
Y'all can't give me shit anymore. I at least started collecting them. All right.
Hey, I've already sent in shed tests before, so I'm ready.
Yeah, I know you have.
Yeah, just don't do what we did. Make sure they're nice and dry.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Definitely gotta dry them out. But I appreciate it, everybody. Thank you so much. Everyone, have a good night.
Have a good one.
Peace.
Later, you guys.